I'm your host, Patrick Marlette, your local game guy, with co-host Will,
Sup?
also fellow local gamer just in Maryland. I'm back in New York. Back in New York, a little bit more tan. My boss noticed. No one else. But thanks, Shanir. Thanks for noticing. But yeah, a little bit more tan. We are in Hawaii. It felt tropical because we were on a shit ton of islands. But I was in the Philippines, where my mom's from, and I have a lot of family there. So spent some time with them. Got to honeymoon. It was swell. I kind of wish I was still there. It was just like the weather was really nice, but the people were great. And then obviously, falling apart here. Obviously, the trip was great. We had a bunch of things like activities planned out, but I haven't talked to Will about this at all. Sorry, we usually putz around at the beginning of these.
Yeah, but
It's really
you
sensitive.
you picked the perfect time to leave to go up to Hawaii though, because we had like 7 degrees in Maryland for like a week or two after, or for a couple days while you were gone. Like literally the peak of when you were in Hawaii is when we had the coldest days of the year.
We Hawaii. I'm convinced. Honeymoon. My our 10-year anniversary was in Hawaii, and I think that's why I'm thinking of Hawaii. But
Oh, I thought yeah,
honeymoon
you
was in
said
the
Hawaii,
Philippines.
so I was like, oh
Honeymoon
yeah.
was in the Philippines. You're good. It didn't matter. I'm gonna make that mistake. I'm sure.
Also, I can notice the tan, but it's more so like on the arms because I can notice the slightly less tan on this side, slightly more tan on like the
Yeah.
back.
Yeah.
Like it's more noticeable. It's like a forearm versus a back
Right.
forearm.
Right. Right.
Yeah,
Right.
like I can see it clear with that comparison.
Um. So yeah, I'm back. I'm back. We're like balls deep in Aetherdrift. Those are Watsy's words. That's how they've been celebrating the set.
We just need one
So
stream
true.
where we go
So
over
true.
like all the stuff that came out of Aetherdrift really quick, just to be like, here's everything.
Well, I'm sure if you're watching this at this point, you've heard about Captain Howler, the Sea Scourger, and you likely
Pirate
know.
shark, pirate shark,
Yes, that guy.
pirate shark,
So the
shark.
thumbnail's a little misleading because we do have. I know there's another shark that's played in cEDH. Okay, is he still Shabra still played in cEDH?
Occasionally, but
Sure.
not like a major thing.
Well, this is gonna stomp that shark out of the sky. Trust me. The Sea Scourger is pretty dope. We're gonna jump into him in just a second, but I guess while we're here, Will's suggestion makes a lot of sense. If you've never been to one of these live stream deck techs, well, guess what? It's community built. I built it over on Tapped Out. I know. You can take it though. You can take the list and put it wherever you want. That's the beauty of these, and also we get to do them together, so we can work on what goes into it, what the core strategies are, yada yada yada. So if you're not here for the live build, and the card's not in the deck, you should have been here. That's all I gotta say. There is a link to the deck list. We're using a land base from a Niv Mizzet build that we recently did. I won't say it's perfect, but it'll probably get us there. But while we're on the topic of this new set, there's only one new mechanic that I'm aware of. It's start your engine.
Uh, let's see. We have start your engine, and we have. I think you're right.
Right, and because this set didn't introduce too much. Obviously, a ton of new cards, but so far as effects are concerned that fit the theme, I believe it's just start your engines, which I've kick off celebrations here if you want to go over the reminder text, but Will can kind of get you up to speed on what that is.
Yeah. So start your engines is a mechanic that when your first start your engines card enters the battlefield, you basically get an emblem. The emblem will start off with one marker on it, level on it, whatever you want to call it, and it has an ability. The ability says that it will go up one level whenever an opponent takes damage on your turn, and it will only trigger that once per turn. So you can play something like, let's say, a 1-mana 1/1 with haste that says start your engines. You start off on 1, attack, get to 2. If you lightning bolt, then again afterwards you're still going to stay at 2 because you got your 1 trigger for turn. And then, if you get to speed 4, you hit maximum speed, which then gives a whole bunch of cards extra effects. It will never go higher than 4.
Right. So the working theory here, and I don't know if Wizards
Exhaust. Exhaust is the other new mechanic.
Oh, I'll have to find a card with that. And yes, you are right. Exhaust is like exert, if I'm not mistaken.
No,
you can only do it
exhaust.
once per turn.
No, exhaust is once. You can use the effect once.
Right, but if you flicker it,
yeah.
Sorry, let me. Now I want to find a card with exhaust. The other important thing to
Sky
note:
Serpent Seeker is the one that people are most hyped about, I think, because it's like
is Sky Serpent one word?
Yeah, Sky Serpent one word.
The other thing with start your engines, you don't just accrue. It's not like if your deck has energy and you just you simply put energy off to the side. This is something that we're assuming you need to have a card that states start your engine, and then you can start building speed. I don't think you lose speed provided the thing that said start your engine is gone. And I don't know
one card that makes people lose speed in the set so far, and it's just if somebody has the most speed, reduce their speed by 1, but no less than 1. So you can't set them to 0, you can set them to 1.
Sure. I mean, well, the set's not fully spoiled yet, right?
Yeah, we might get more.
Okay, well, get ready for that. At any rate, Sky Serpent Seeker. We're going to go over Exhaust, and then once we've covered up all the new mechanics, which we're not using in this deck, we can get to Captain Howler. Do you want to cover this one? I'm sorry.
So Sky Serpent Seeker.
It's not a bad card.
Nothing horribly fancy. It's a flying Death Toucher that says Exhaust, pay 4. Reveal the top cards of your library till you reveal 2 lands. Put them onto the battlefield, tapped, and the rest on the bottom in random order. Put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. Activate each Exhaust ability only once.
Yeah.
That's how Exhaust works. You basically have an instant stapled on the creature. It's one-time use.
I'm sorry for my framing, by the way. I'm not trying to poke my head out. It's fine. You get to be that much closer to my face.
If you can see your own webcam, if you can position your head right in between the poster and the actually literally the corner of the wall, it's centered in the corner of the wall perfectly.
This is good. I'll just sit back. I'll sit back here.
That's your center line, your line of symmetry, as they say.
Yeah, I've been using that as a little marker, but yeah, Exhaust seems okay. This is
Exhaust is interesting. We have a 1 legendary that has a fun Exhaust ability. It's just pay X, 2 green and a blue. All creatures you control have base toughness and power X for the turn. So it's just pay a lot of mana, make your things big. Have fun.
Do you want to do Avia next, by the way? Sorry, not to foreshadow. Avia is the mechanic, the human artificer. I've got a thing for artificers. But the human artificer that is Elvish Piper.
Oh, yeah. We could do a Via if you want, but I feel like a Via is not going to be too crazy. It's going to be similar to a lot of stuff that's been brewed before. It's cheat in big things and then do green combo stuff.
That sounds fun to me, man. I don't know. It could be good. At any rate,
just doing a random untap spells or Seeker of Skybreak stuff with Eldrazi Titans could just be fun.
I mean,
honestly, Green Beats is kind of underrated as a general thing, and since the meta slowed down, hitting in a Kozilek on turn 3 is not that bad.
No, it wouldn't be. My thing is, it just places on the battlefield, so a lot of those Titans,
I don't care if I'm losing 4 drop. I'm making you sack down to 1 land and nothing else. I am winning.
Yeah, and all the trample. But
true. She gives Kozilek trample. That is brutal. Also, that is the pettiest mechanic ever because she does not give your stuff trample. She gives everything that is not going at you trample. Yeah. That is so petty, and I love that.
It's so specific, and I love that. But yeah, I've always wanted to rock Elvish Piper in the CZ, so this is that, but better. So for me, it's kind of exciting. I do think that it's probably. Oh, hey, Will. I don't know why. I don't think your audio is coming through. Let me speak again.
Yeah. Testing 1 2 3. Am I here?
Hear me out. Right.
No, I hear it. I can hear it.
Now I'm pretty sure I can hear it. Sorry. Here, okay. It's been a while. I'm back. We're back. We're streaming. Last time I used
messing with the new recording software. So
yeah, Prism Live Studio's kind of been a pain in the ass in the same way that OBS is. There just doesn't seem to be a good software for Mac. So if there's issues with audio, please let me know, and then we'll go from there. Will, can I hear you one more time?
Yep. Testing 1 2 3.
And one last time.
Testing 1 2 3. I figured visual might potentially help with the voice sync. I don't know if that's going to be relevant.
No, okay, it's working now. Hear your timer go off.
Yeah, I'm going to quickly hop downstairs to pull something out of the oven, then I will be back. I will take about a minute.
Thanks, Rhea. While Will's doing that, sorry, we're going to get to the deck in a second. I'll go over what the shark... Actually, I'll wait for Will. I want to open these packs. Oh, have you had trouble? Have you had trouble getting any prismatic evolutions? Are there any people that collect Pokemon out there? It's okay. You don't have to. We can hear everything fine right now. Thank you, Reynard. Yeah, I've been having issues I'm slowly getting into Pokemon. Don't ask me why. But I've been having issues getting packs, so I noticed McDonald's had these, so I took it upon myself. We'll do a little pack crack here while it's only going to be a surprise for you guys while Will is getting his pizza. But yeah, the shark, I genuinely think that it can be playable in cEDH. I do want to get your opinion though, so feel free to use that poll. Sorry, Will, we're cracking the Pokemon packs. I think there's like 15 card options. Oh hey dude, it's my first Charizard of 2025. Very cool. And I don't really care about this Koraidon, but it did look like one of the better ones. I kind of just want the Dragonite. Don't even want the Pikachu. No trouble at all because I don't play Pokemon. Yeah. I'm not gonna lie. Pokemon Pocket TCG really got me into the tangible game again, because I mean, in their wisdom, they built out the game with old illustrations, like for a lot of the cards. So you'll get a Meowth that looks like the original Meowth. You'll get a Pikachu that looks like the original Pikachu. It got me thinking about the game again. So I just want to fool around with it. And decks are super cheap, so figured I could drop $80 on a deck. Anyway, yeah.
Look, same card.
Jigglypuff again. Are these the
Oh my
same?
gosh, same card.
Stop. No. Ah, damn it. Yeah, they are.
Charizard?
Okay.
Not Charizard.
We have a Drampa, and we have a Charizard.
Not Charizard.
What the fuck? All right, so 3 out of 4 were the same. I didn't know that could be a thing, and I don't know if the foiling on this is special. I really don't know what you're expecting from these. But Drampa, Raging Cannon. If all your bench Pokemon have at least 1 damage counter on it. What? That feels difficult to do. But this is a basic. Actually, if you only have 1 other bench Pokemon.
That's funny. Yeah,
honestly,
if all of your other Pokemon are fainted, like that's not a bad thing to throw out last.
That's really not difficult to do, actually. Huh. I thought I looked over all these cards. I don't remember reading Drampa. That's not bad. At any rate, you're not here for that. Hey, Will. Let's jump into this one officially. Hi. That's how we're doing it. Let's do Captain Howler Scourge. So, Aetherdrift brought us a ton of new legendaries. There's a lot of cool ones. I would say that this is high up on the list for me. So far as cEDH viability is concerned, or I should just say competitive viability. If you're going to bring this to a tournament, will you have a good time with it? Gonna be hard to judge. We're going to have to make this list first, to be honest with you. But
I will say, we recently did have an Izzet beater deck that did win a tournament. It was a background setup with the extra combat creature and then the background that makes fairies.
That's all you need then.
Izzet beaters is viable.
Shit.
This is an Izzet beaters commander.
Well, yeah, the game has been a bit slower since those recent bans, and maybe it's for the better. So something like this might have more wings than we realize. So, Captain Howler, Sea Scourge, 2 generic, Izzet, 4 total, 5/4 body, Shark Pirate. It has Ward 2, which we know is annoying. Pay 2 life, which, I mean, I think that's the least of your concerns.
In the beaver deck.
It will be if you're trying to remove this for sure. So here's the juicy part. It's a good 6 lines of text. Whenever you discard 1 or more cards, target creature gets +2/+0 until end of turn for each card discarded this way. But wait, there's also a delayed trigger. Whenever that creature happens to deal combat damage to a player, this turn, you draw a card. So, that last sentence is probably the most important sentence, but it's also important to note that if you're able to, with that first bit of text, do this multiple times separately, like individually of each other, not like a draw 3, discard 2, or some function like that, you can get multiple
versus looting a lot.
Right, you'll get multiple instances of this trigger, which is to say you could draw 1 card or 2 cards or however many cards. So effects that read, discard a card, this creature becomes, I'm only thinking about this guy because you brought it up, this creature becomes unblockable. Or this is a Ghostly Pilferer, which will probably go in the deck. Or any effect that says discard a card, do an effect. We're probably going to want those, provided the effect is useful for the list, and it's important to note that we'll likely get the card back, depending on what we target. So what's good about this is it's not limited to once per turn. It's also not limited to your creatures. So we can functionally leverage our opponent's creatures to draw cards, even off of us. It's not when an opponent takes combat damage. It's whenever a player takes damage this turn from that creature that's +2/+0, you get to draw a card. So even if the Crom is coming at us, I'll take 6. I'll take 6 and, draw a card. It feels like really good value to me. So this is where I feel like this card has wings. I think that it frankly is in a good part of the color pie. It has so many cards within blue especially, but there are some red cards. Red sort of move towards Impulse Draw, which is, I guess it's still like a discard in exile. So you'll still get the discard. But blue has a lot of, discard effects we'll probably want to leverage. That we can functionally build out a board of beaters, deal a lot of damage with our board and our opponent's board, and then use control magic to slow the game down and progress at our own speed. I don't know, if we're really aiming for commander damage here. I don't know if we're aiming for any real tricks like a double strike and or extra combats, but I do think that as a 4 CMC commander, this is really strong potential. Anyway, well, sorry, I just talked for a lot there.
Yeah, he is one of... So, I read this commander initially. I said, oh, this is a fun commander. Yeah, you use like a Berkey or Ghostly Pilfer effect, and then you can discard your whole hand, refill your whole hand, maybe do double strike, maybe do extra combats to up your hand, and then you storm off on your turn. Oh, it's pretty cool that you just buff your stuff and attack. Then I read that it's any creature. It is not creature you control, it is any target creature, which flips this card on its head. Because you can just play him, sit there, and wait for a 1/1 squirrel to get by, and then you say, I discard my whole hand, it gets +14/+0, I draw 7 cards.
Right.
Oh, the next guy does the same thing, deal 14 more.
Yeah,
this guy does the same thing, deal 14 more. You just dump your hand, buff the heck out of the one creature that makes its way through, and then slug somebody. And the thing is, this plays like a smarter slicer, because if you get that setup, you can politics with people to just say, hey, look, that guy's the threat, that guy's the fast decker, that guy's using his life total.
Right.
Let's work together and just beat the crap out of him.
And look, and I'm only really drawing cards to stifle their victory.
I mean, you're looting through your hand, which, by the way, really good for Underworld Breach, but you're looting your hand. You're not netting cards most of the time, because unless somebody has a double strike creature and then that one guy lets the double strike creature through, you're not netting cards off of other people. You're just looting a whole bunch. But I love
So
them.
the only thing that could stifle this, obviously, is someone. Well, I guess using stifle,
There's
or
a lot of ways to stifle this. They
kill the
can kill the creature
creature.
that got buffed.
Right.
They can just block, do some weird trick, prevent damage. There's a couple things that can stop you from doing
You know what's
it.
interesting
They
though?
can kill the
Like,
discard outlet.
right, but like, do this on the creature that will effectively make them waste their Path to Exile. Do you know what I mean? Like, there are probably better targets for removal if you're swinging out with something that's non-essential, I guess.
You Swords to Plowshare, my squirrel that just got 14 power.
Yeah.
Pay the 1 off Esper Sentinel.
Right. It's also important to note that it's like not these can be token creatures, I guess is what I'm saying. So, maybe we do use Sharknado or something. I don't know. We're probably not going to use that, but we can make tokens and leverage those as well. So hello all, good to see you and Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Yeah. Have we not? Happy New Year.
Yeah, because I think no, we did a stream a little bit after Christmas.
I didn't really
but
think
I don't know
about
if it was January.
I don't know either. That Spicy didn't catch that at first. Also, Hash Brown is so much better. Esper reanimate dude.
Hashaton, the Esper commander that reanimates stuff.
So how does Captain Howler work with Sundial the Infinite?
That's end of turn.
Yeah. End the turn.
immediately
Activate this ability only during your turn. Only during your turn.
You end the turn.
Yeah.
I'm not entirely sure how so you mean. You may be thinking of a different card or not sure. Let's see.
I don't think it does.
Oh, are you thinking like the buff wears off and then you can shut it off in response to a trigger of the buff wearing off? It's not like a trigger remove the effect. It's clean up step, remove the buff. So Sundials doesn't do anything fancy with Howler. He just does the thing. He's a standard buff.
We can put it in there though.
No,
Scuttle
it doesn't do
Tide.
anything.
Scuttle Tide, you say? I feel like Will brought this card up separately.
Yes. Yes.
I didn't think anyone else would bring it up though.
You do not keep the ability because the ability is linked with the buff. So if you go to end step, the creature still has the ability on end step. Go to cleanup step, that's when the creature loses the ability. And Sundials of the Infinite skips end step and goes to cleanup step, or goes straight to end step and goes to cleanup step. So you can't skip the cleanup step. You will lose the ability. You can't perma-stack them, which would be great, but you can't because it's not. What's a good example? At the beginning of the end step. If it's set at the beginning of the next end step, then yes, you could keep the buff infinitely. But it's not beginning of the end step. It's until the end of the turn.
Gissa, coming in with the best flavor text. We're gonna need more butter.
Indeed.
So, Will, how do you feel about Scuttle Tide?
I like it only because it lets us discard anything from our hand. It also gives us tokens that we can use to buff to punch people. So I don't hate it.
It's a little. It's kind of. It's a funny card. I don't know that it's worth running Scuttle Tide, but I do like where your head is at. Because like when you put this ability on the stack, you're going to create the token, but you'll allocate the damage first. So, you'll do the 2+2+0 probably to the shark, and then make the token attack with the shark. And then next turn you have a crab to buff, and then you make another crab. So like you can kind of perpetuate this, and obviously you can make these off turn. You can make a bunch of these. And it's also important to know that you could actually use this, make a crab, and then buff someone else's creature that's attacking. So maybe there's a home for it. This does bring up the all-important question, though, of when we have unique legendaries like this, ones that are requiring we build them in a certain way, what are the discard effects we want to include outside of like card quality effects? And what are any sort of other additional utilities outside of the basic, mana generation, tutors, all that stuff?
I say for this commander is if we can get a low CMC card that lets us discard anything at instant speed, with no other cost than discard them, we 100% select those. And there's a couple. I made a list for you, Patrick, to simplify this down a little bit. But we have a couple cards that are low CMC that do just make it so that we can discard things universally. We got Aquamoba, which is just a creature that's a 1/3 for 2 mana that you can discard a card to swap its stats. We don't care about that, but it's discarding a card instant speed on a 2 mana body with no cost to it. So it's a good engine for the fact that we can buff stuff at instant speed. Ghostly Pilfer is the best card in the deck because it's a draw engine that also lets us discard stuff. We could do Horn of Harnfeld, but Horn of Harnfeld's 5 mana, but it's also on Bergie, which Bergie is kind of a good card, but I think we can skip that one. The last cards that we'd potentially consider as good universal discard cards is a Cephalid Ink Shrouder, which is a creature that just says discard a card to give this Shroud. Is it hexproof or Shroud? It's Shroud. So you discard a card to give this Shroud, you can just discard a bunch of cards. It's self-protecting, which is the reason why I think this is somewhat good. Land's Edge is an enchantment that lets anyone discard a card. If that card is a land, they can deal 2 damage to target player or planeswalker. And then Patchwork Gnomes is the easiest to find out of all of them because it's an artifact creature and it just says discard card, regenerate Patchwork Gnome. I think it's going to be the one that comes up the most non because you're in blue. You can find it easily. It's not bad. For the non universal / non free discard effects, I think Trade Routes is potentially the best of the ones that we have, because Trade Routes is 1 in a blue for an enchantment. Pay 1, return target land you control to its owner's hand. You don't care about that. But you can pay 1 and discard a land card to draw a card. So it limits what we discard to lands, but it limits what we discard to lands and makes us pay a mana. But it nets us a card, which means that we can build up a hand with our commander. Right. So it's awkward, but it's also potentially the best effect that we have to gain more cards. The last one that's like iffy, but also good, is a Mesmeric Trance. It is 1 blue for an enchantment with cumulative upkeep, pay 1. Pay a blue, discard a card, draw a card. It is a very bad card, and you would not put it in any deck except for maybe this one, because pay a blue, discard a card, draw a card is a universal discard effect, which means that you draw. You're probably not keeping this out for more than like 2 turns, so you're really only paying the cumulative upkeep once, maybe.
What's the name again?
It is Mesmeric Trance. If you go to the Discord, it's on the Moxfield link that I sent to you earlier.
Well, wait, I can bring it up. I just don't want to like cut into your face.
Weird
yeah.
Thing, yeah.
Mesmeric Trance is an oddity. I do think that
maybe good enough.
I'll still be playing Slicer, but I like the idea. Here's the thing, World Medic. You could technically play Slicer in this deck.
Yeah. The reason why this commander is so weirdly good is because you just sit there doing Izzet control things, and then you just go, oh, I'm gonna ditch 4 bad cards to give that thing +8/+0 and then draw 4 cards.
Wait, Will, didn't we just get the tutor for this card too? Didn't we just get a creature that tutors like 5 or 6 drop artifacts?
Yes. So we
not that we're gonna play him, but if we really wanted Slicer, we can play Slicer in this deck. Like this is sort of like a closet Slicer list. Sorry. What I wanted to comment on was cycling. So Mateus brought up cycling. The land cyclers. I agree. I think Lorien Revealed and the Giant from Lord of the Rings are great options. And maybe there are effects that make things cyclers, which we could maybe consider, which is sort of providing us universal cyclers. But I think the blue card that does that, it effectively only does that to lands. I forget.
Creatures is one that we got from this set that's coming out. Creatures have cycling.
Do you like that idea though, or
all lands have a cycle for a red?
Do you like that?
I don't think we need to build into cycling, because if we just find like Patchwork Gnome, we're good.
Mm.
We'll run some cards that have cycling that are just reasonable. There's the wizard that has wizard cycling. There's the spell that has wizard cycling. Those are just usually universally good because wizards give us good options.
Mm.
But we don't need cycling cards in the deck for the most part.
I like the call out to Invasion of Kaldheim. I'm not gonna lie, I don't think about the battles that often, but Pyre of the
We
World
have
Tree.
so many battles as Wizards of the Coast was going to make it the next card type and put it in so many sets.
Well, we've seen it in one. We've seen it in one so far. We only have Battle Siege as well. I want to see how they expand upon this. But the back end of this card, discard a land card. Pyre of World deals 2 damage to any target. Whenever you discard a land card, exile the top card of your library. You may play that card this turn. So basically, you never lose out on the card. Exile all cards from your hand, then draw that many cards. Until the end of your turn, you may play the cards exiled this way. Do you like Invasion of Kaldheim? Actually, I don't hate Invasion of Kaldheim here. It's not a bad idea, and I don't think it'll be difficult to break this. I mean, we go +2, +0. It's only 4 defense.
Personally, I don't. It's 4 mana, and yes, it can do siege, but
Yeah.
I don't think we go for it just because it's a lot of investment for something that doesn't do a ton. Because the impulse draw is good if we discard on our turn, but I think the way that we're going is discarding on everybody's turn to amplify damage. So I don't know how useful it is, but
Yeah.
this is also assuming people are going to be attacking.
Well, yeah, and that's kind of a big assumption. It really depends on your play group. I mean, I expect Xur to attack, but I also expect Xur to win,
Get attacked.
afterwards. So it's like me drawing 1 card versus them getting Necropotence is iffy, unless they're playing some variant of Xur that doesn't want to win on the spot. Typically, though, yeah, I think most decks do attack. Like, I think that all the Tymna builds will be attacking. It's just a free shot. I don't think I've ever played a game of cEDH where you don't turn that creature sideways unless it's just a bad attack. Do you know what I mean? So I'm not too concerned about that. And I'm only talking about this because World Medic brings up, do you think this is better than Niv Mizzet or River Song? I don't know many River Song list.
River Song is more of a staxy deck because River Song just kind of sits there and makes it so that people are either forced to scry or punishes them for using fetches while buffing River Song. River Song's more like a staxy burn deck, and Niv Mizzet's more like a hard control deck that ends the game by comboing.
Right.
Howler
This is a hybrid.
Howler just kind of goes like, okay, well, I'm gonna punch you to death. I will
Right.
always have counter spells to deal with your stuff. If you guys want to help speed up the game, you can punch each other and I'll buff your stuff as well.
Is there a counter spell that loots or rummages? Is there a counter spell that also... Is there?
There's a couple that
right.
loot, but I don't think they're like efficient.
No. I'm just... what I'm saying is that there is already generally support for this commander, and apparently there's rummaging counterspells, so, or looting counterspells, I should say. I do think that this list is a hybrid of a beats list and maybe like Niv control. It will ultimately have a lot of control magic just by virtue of the fact that it's in blue. So I think there's hope. It's going to be a weird list for us to goldfish, I will say. We haven't even touched adding any cards to this deck, so we're going to fix that in a second. I am taking inventory of everything you guys have said from Scuttletide. I ignored the Heuristic Study Firestorm 96 lands, but that is a build, I guess. Let's add some cards, Will. I do want to look at Massive Schemer first, though, because this was brought up. Because Connive is actually exactly what I was talking about. It is a loot effect. You draw, and then you discard. You get +1/+1 counters, however, by conniving for each non-land card discarded this way. And Mask of the Schemer, it's 5 mana total in cost. So the casting and the equip cost. I think that is a little slow for my liking.
Really quick, can you read what the card does?
Whenever a equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, it connives X, where X is the amount of damage dealt to that player. I know.
You see the problem, right?
Well, I mean, you're doing it all in one go, so you really only get the one instance of the trigger, but...
Well, the other problem is you punch someone, and then the next time you punch someone, you're going to draw a card off of your commander.
Yeah.
But you're not going to punch someone again.
There's also, like, just no evasion to it. I don't know.
Yeah, if it was like when it attacks, it connives, yes. But it's when it deals damage, it connives is the issue, because both effects are on deal damage, so unfortunately it does not work well.
Right, you deal the damage before you connive. Yeah. No, thank you, Ryan, for pointing that out. Yeah. So if it was when attacking, sure. But then it wouldn't functionally do anything. At any rate, Captain Howler. Again, our land base might be a little wonky. We can fix it up as we go along. I do see two things I do want in it, though, which are Ancient Tomb and City of Traders. We'll have a discussion about what tutors we want to include ultimately once we see the list, but I do think Will is right that our artifacts will probably take priority. Some of them.
I do think we just built this as Izzet control / Izzet stax. So I think we're pretty much just going to be putting in a couple discard effects, a couple fancy tricks here and there, and then just all of the counter spells, all of the removal, and all of the stacks that you can think of.
Right. So what are the first discard effects we want to... What are the ones we've gone over that you like to include? So Ghostly Pilferer.
Ghostly Pilferer, Aquamoeba?
Aquamoeba? I think it's Aquamoeba.
Moeba. I don't know if that's Meba or MOBA or...
We're going to use the 2003 World Championship Deck Edition.
We're not plebs.
Ledger Shredder is good as well. I think we talked about this one. It is good.
When somebody casts their second spell, you connive.
Yeah.
Leisure Shredder isn't really bad, just because worst case scenario, it does Leisure Shredder things, and you maybe buff something to give you
that
more draw.
attacks.
So
yeah,
I like Leisure Shredder. Leisure Shredder's cool.
I like it too. A special guest version. Stop.
Patchwork Gnomes is the I think Patchwork Gnomes is probably the last one that would include as a discard effect, because with the with stuff like trade routes, it's iffy on how well it will work. Maybe we include trade routes just because it's a discard and draw effect that we can use multiple times per turn. But Mesmeric Trance being 3 mana and requiring blue mana activate feels iffy. Trade routes feels like even if we have another discard outlet in play, we can still pay like a little bit to discard lands that we draw to net cards.
Am I crazy? Are there not better looters or rummagers that exist?
Not ones that are like reusable immediately. Like you can't like do it 5 times in a turn. There are effects that are just like, oh yeah, it's a 2 mana 1/3 with prowess that says loot. Like there's plenty that do that. But there's not reusable ones. They always have tap.
Do we run Faithless Looting?
Honestly, yeah, we can run Faithless Looting. We can run a Frantic Search just because it gives plus 4+0 or +6+0 and then draws us 1 extra card. So it's a net card or net neutral for Faithless Looting. Net neutral for both actually, but
Fairy Mastermind for an evasive flyer. I don't hate that either.
Yeah.
Right. So
now,
this
Patrick, do we add in Polywog Prodigy so that we can buff Polywog Prodigy and then make it so people draw us cards?
Wait. I'm gonna.
That actually works, and I love that.
I'm gonna let that.
Polywog Prodigy.
I'm gonna let that steep for a little while. I did pull up Aethertide, which was Orion's suggestion. Choose and discard X creature cards. Return X target creatures to their owner's hand. So this is effectively, you do need to pay X to elect how many creatures you discard. I don't know how.
Sorcery speed.
Yeah, that's the one hiccup for me. I feel like, but Oh, sorry. It's also just not valuable in the sense that we kind of want them to have their creatures. There are some things obviously we would want to remove, but we'll probably reserve that for like a Chain of Vapor. Sorry. Ashling Flame Dancer loots whenever you cast an instant or sorcery. Artist Talent is also a rummage whenever you non-creature. Artist Talent, the background, right?
Yeah, no, background, not background. You're thinking of Guild Artisan. Artist Talent is it's the class. It's the class from Blue Burrow.
Right. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, you may discard a card. If you do, draw a card. This is good. This is good.
We also probably want like Baral, Chief of Compliance, whenever you counter a spell.
Yeah.
Loot.
Yeah. I like this. Artist Talent, and thank you for that suggestion. I like that one. And yeah, Baral, Chief of Compliance, for sure. There's so many good copies of this card. Which one do we use? Let's use the Secret Lair one. Sure. Ashling Flame Dancer, I don't remember.
It's the 4-mana one that if you use 2 forks, you draw your deck. It's legendary.
I think it's just a little too high for me. Turbulent Dreams. I want to reserve our utilities. I think they tend to lose their value beyond 3 CMC. There are obviously exceptions to this. Things like the One Ring. Just generically good. So I only go 4 or higher if the thing has value outside of like
Patrick,
anything it might do in tandem with my commander.
There is the highest utility discard card in the entire game for us.
The One Ring.
Mox Diamond.
Sure. Right, because Chrome Mox is imprinting, right?
Yeah, Mox Diamond is discard a land. We do get a trigger off of that.
Yeah, Mateus, you keep your Lorien revealed. I've got Mox Diamond. I know how to discard a land. Bazaar of Baghdad. Yeah, Bazaar of Baghdad. Let's just increase the price
of neutral now. We also have Magus of the Bazaar, which is the same thing on a creature.
No, Will. I want to do it for free, and I want to do it for $1,000. Wait, I feel like it's more than that now. I don't know.
It probably is.
Dude, did I tell you I had a chance to buy a Bazaar for like $500 like ages ago? It was like moderately played but like clean. Like it had I think it's a white border card. It looks really clean. I'm so annoyed I didn't buy it then. I don't even know why I didn't buy it. I think I was like waiting to buy something else. Anyways, back when Wheel of Fortune was a $20 card, that's when I could have bought this Bazaar. Turbulent Dreams is 2 mana. I'm sorry, you guys are giving great suggestions, so I want to go through the rest of these before we move on to our other effects. Hey, here's a fun question. What is your most expensive card now, and how much was it when you purchased it? I think that my Mox Diamond, I think I bought it for like 100 even, and it is the Vulcan Baga version, so the from the vault version of Mox Diamond. And I'm pretty sure that's like several hundred now. So
I have the OG Mox Diamond. I bought mine for $80.
How much do they go for now? Like 400?
Just under 600, 587.
Really up there? Sorry, I haven't really looked at prices of like any of my reserve list cards for a while, but I'm curious to know like what has been your best investment. I just buy cards to play with them. I'm not really investing in them, but I'm curious to know. Because I don't really track the card market, but I'm sure some of you guys do.
I will say my Mox Diamond is probably worth like 200 to 300 because it is super damaged. But I got it. There was a card store that had like a flood or something in Maryland, and I just bought all the fast mana from them when that happened. That was when I played Godo, when Godo was not considered meta.
He's pretty meta now. He's still doing well, dude.
It was when people thought paying 11 mana, that's too high to win the game.
Dude, Underground Sea for $20. That's pretty good. Free, yeah, I guess just win tournaments. Then you'll get free shit. I mean, Ernesto won a guy's cradle, like a pretty minty looking guy's cradle from an event here. So it happens. Having some burritos from Samitas and watching the stream. Hell yeah. I'm a little jealous about the burritos, I'm not gonna lie. But Turbulent Dreams. This is sorcery. As additional cost, you discard X cards. Return X target non-land permanents to their owner's hand. So it's double blue, sorcery speed. I have actually never read this Scourge card. I know the other dreams. I didn't know about this dream. I didn't know about Blue's dream. I've seen it played out several times. I thought it was Thassa's dream, but Turbulent Dream. I don't know, man. I don't think we need to go this hard on the discard. Like,
I mean, this is funny because we can bounce one person's only blocker and then bounce like all the other value things that people have, then just punch somebody and redraw. The issue is this is discard a bunch of cards in one go, so we're drawing one card back. So this is really bad for the deck.
Rhea, I'm gonna try my best to spike Ghostly Pilferer for you, but I don't know if we're gonna get that far. FOMO could be good. Fear of missing out. It's amazing to me that you said those words and then that's a Magic card. But I put Frantic Search on the screen. Will, do we want to add any of these effects?
We can add like the generally good ones that people already include just as value ones like Frantic Search and Faithless Looting. I don't think
do we stop
there's
there?
I don't think there's any other ones that are good enough. So
I just want
include more than them.
Sorry, I do want more instant speed ones. Obviously, we have a handful of permanents here that do work at instant speed, but more instant speed utilities that do this would be good in my mind. So like, what is the there's a couple of them in red now, and I forget the names. There's some rummagers in red that we could use off turn to give us card quality and then buff something and get a draw potentially. Conspiracy Theorist or Containment Construct let us replay the cards we discarded.
The reason why we may not want those is because we're discarding at instant speed a lot of the time on other people's turns, so we can't always play the cards. They theoretically are good, but I honestly don't want to waste the slots on them because our game plan is just punch people to death. So I don't think we need to do fancy value things if we're just winning because we're holding up counter spells.
Right. The one thing that the major hiccup for the Shark is the fact that he himself doesn't provide a discard. Like, so we do need enough effects to get the discard. So I do want to add some cyclers, because those are things we could do pretty easily off turn to fix our hand, as well as get the buff, like just surprise buff. Hey, I'm gonna search up this island and I'm gonna buff your thing to draw a card. So let's add the Lorien Revealed. And do you remember the name of the troll or the giant?
Not for the life of me, no.
No, that's okay. It's mountain cycling. Shit, there's actually a lot of mountain cyclers. It's Oliphant. Oh damn, I'm so wrong. The black one is a troll or a giant. But yeah, we can use Timothy Oliphant. Wait, you just sorry, you're saying words. You discard all those cards, get +2 pump for each, and the target multiple creatures, right?
No, you target one creature.
Yeah,
it
that's
is
the
one
issue.
creature gets +2/+0 for each card that you discarded. It's not give a creature +2/+0 for each card discarded. It's one creature gets it. So it's one singular target will get a buff for every card you discarded, not for every card you discarded buff a creature by.
Are there any other cyclers you would want to use, Will?
Like just generic cycle effects.
Just decent cyclers, yeah.
Well, cards with cycling, we could.
What are the cheap ones?
We could potentially use the cycling lands just for the sake that we can cycle with them.
Forgotten Cave. Wait, aren't there dual land cyclers?
There's several lands with cycling. There's a land that cycles for one of the color, a land that cycles for 2 generic, a land that cycles for one of the color and a generic. So there's 6 right there because there's 3 of those on the blue, 3 of those on the red.
I only really want the dual land cyclers.
I don't know if the Izzet set. I don't know if Izzet has a cycling land.
I'm looking Sheltered Thicket, Scattered Groves. I should really do this by color. You might be right.
Look up with what's it called?
No,
the
it's
commander
okay.
color set.
No, it's okay. I'm not seeing it though. But yeah, thank you for olive font.
Cycling.
I only
Let's
really
look at the
want.
best cycling cards in Magic the Gathering. Um, so we have Barrens, which has basic land cycling for 1.
Which one is this again?
It's just a generic land that cycles for basic land for a generic. Um,
Something barons though.
Ash Barrens.
Ash barons. Sure.
We have Lorien Revealed, which some people like a lot. It's island cycling for 1.
But you clearly don't. Oh shit.
It's not bad. We have Forgotten Caves and Lonely Sandbar, which are both cycle for a pip of their color and their lands.
Have you seen Piotr's Ash Barons? There's there's a lot of really good art for Ash Barons. I just want to start with that. But Piotr Dura did a Secret Lair Ash Barons that looks so cool. It's like a sci-fi setting, like a Blade Runner.
I see it, yeah.
Dude, it's so damn good. I'm only going to run this card for that. We could probably... I want to say we could stop there. I don't think we need many cyclers. Unless there's like a permanent that gives us cycling for cards that you want to incorporate.
You know what? Screw it at this point. Tectonic Reformation. 1 in the red for... each land you control has cycling for a red, and this has cycling for 2 generic. It itself is just a cycling card. We can ditch it if we need to and net a card because of how our commander works, or we can net cards off of just having lands in hand. Good enough.
Land Edge is good, so please consider it.
Yeah, Land's Edge is 3 mana. Any player can discard a card. If it's a land, they shock someone in the face.
You know, this does pass the test. You brought this up earlier, Mateus. It is an enchant world, so unless someone else plays a world enchantment, it should stick. But it's an interesting card. It's just a free discard for us, and it caps at 3, which again is my general philosophy, where we should probably land here. You also mentioned Blood Moon earlier, so I wasn't ignoring that. I haven't really thought about what kind of stacks we should incorporate. I don't know about that though. Our land base is, again, it's not necessarily tailored for the shark yet and or a specific strategy. It's sort of just a generic good stuff land base, excluding any MDFCs. So
fine with Blood Moon, because we really just need like 1 or 2 blue to be happy. So we can fetch for basics.
Well, is there a better Blood Moon at this point? No, right?
No. Blood Moon and Magus of the Moon are still the 2 best Blood Moon effects.
Do you want to Magus as well?
Yeah, we run both. We run like all the things that can shut people down, because Blood Moon effects have gotten significantly better due to the fact that Dockside is out.
Yeah.
People don't have good mana fixing anymore for Blood Moon.
Yeah, it was only ever masked treasures. So, Cursed Totem. You're really trying to shut them off. You don't want the 1 Kinnan to get by.
Well, yeah, Cursed Totem hurts us is my only potential issue. I'd be fine with Null Rod, because we have 1 discard outlet that's an artifact, which is the Patchwork Gnomes. So Null Rod is fine by me.
So Null Rod, but the other one's Collector Oof, so never mind. Okay.
Yeah, and then
Null Rod.
We can do Arcane Laboratory, which is the blue rule of law, because if we're playing counter spells, we just sit there holding up the counter spells while people punch the crap out of each other.
I got what you meant with Bombo. All right, so we've got Null Rod in there. Will, I'm gonna just save and continue editing just to see where we're at. We're at 50 cards. Okay, what do you want to incorporate now? Probably
we could do Trinisphere. I don't know if you've already put in Trinisphere, but we can Trinisphere.
I mean, that might stifle us a little bit, sir.
I mean, we can choose when we play that.
I mean, I almost feel like a Tangle Wire. If we want to just get the game going for a duration longer, I think something like a Tangle Wire might be better. Because we don't want to be caught with our pants down, like when that one player untaps and then we're sort of SOL on mana. I feel like people tend to play a little greedy. I don't think they're going to hold up 3 mana like we would. Do you know what I mean?
I mean, our game plan is just to ramp into our commander, then hold up all the control. So we just need a couple stacks pieces here and there to potentially slow down the game a little.
Yeah. I mean, we're not damaging people out unless we're doing the discard thing too, so we do need to get something like that online. Let's hold off on any more stacks and just add some control magic, I think, for the time being. And no, I don't think Defense Grid is necessarily... I would rather Trini. Defense Grid is like for fast Mambo combo deck.
And maybe Vex and Bobble before Defense Grid as well, just because it's the good Defense Grid. You can turn it off whenever.
Yeah, we're going to add Vexing Bobble. Okay, so... is there a copy and pastable counterspell base we just want to use here?
I can give you my Gale base. Give me a second. I will put that on Discord for you.
But while you do that, I'm going to add Soul Ring. I did Chrome Mox and Mox Diamond already. I don't think we use Mox Amber. I don't think we use Mox Opal. I do think we use Lotus Petal.
Alright, this is... I'm gonna...
Damn, is that it? God, no Mana Crypt, no Jeweled Lotus, and nothing else. I guess we could use...
Signets.
We could do Rite of Flame. We can do Simian Spirit Guide. We're not trying to pop off and combo, but I do think it's important to get some key elements out quickly. Simian Spirit Guide might be a bridge too far. We'll see. I'll put them on the side for now. The Spirit Guide. But I do want to do a Pyretic Ritual, because that gets us part the way there for our commander, as well as Desperate Ritual. And we'll do a Jesk as well. Do you want the Izzet Signet? And I guess we can use Arcane Signet.
I am a fan of the Signets, yes.
Do you want to use Felwar Stone, or do we just want to stick with two CMC rocks?
Felwar Stone's good. And there we go.
All right, guys. Will's face is going to do a funny thing. Sorry. I like this. Hey, good counter base.
Yep, good counter base and some removal. Lightning Bolt, Braid, all those.
Just expediting things wherever we can. I didn't look at all the removal. Did you have the new... the red one? Untimely.
Oh, Untimely Malfunction?
I mean,
we're in blue. I don't think we need it.
I guess
we
not.
can add that, though. Untimely Malfunction, we can add...
I'll add the Talisman of Creativity.
I also didn't put in... Dreadmaw? No, not Dreadmaw. It's Floodmaw.
Floodmaw? You want to add Floodmaw?
Yeah, Into the Floodmaw is just a good card. It's blue Chain of Vapor. It's another Chain of Vapor. It's good.
Did you have
It's a Chain of Vapor that makes a token that can punch someone. That's very good.
Did you have Psychrift in here?
Yes, Psychrift is in there.
Okay. Okay. So, any MDFCs you want to incorporate that you think would be worthwhile?
I
mean, we should always consider them. The blue one,
like the Shatter Skull is good. The Electro Specimen is good. The Counterspell that bounces is good. For red, we can do the Seagate Restoration just because it's draw and it's not bad. I don't think we need the Land Destruction one, and I can't remember what the other.
What's the reactor? What's the blue
Hydroelectric Specimen?
Hydroelectric Specimen. Because it's also a creature, so
yeah, it's a creature with flash. If no one does anything, we can flash it in just as a body.
Do we run Thassa's Oracle?
No, because we're not like setting. Oh well, we can probably.
We could Labman.
But I was gonna say Labman or Triskaidekaphile are probably better.
Are we gonna? Do you imagine us decking ourselves?
Probably not. Triskaidekaphile is playable though, only due to the fact that one, no max hand size, so if somebody does have a double strike creature, or if we net cards, we keep them. And we can discard cards on the end step for our turn to get to 13 cards.
Right. So, with Triskaidekaphile, does this deck care for Underworld Breach?
I mean, we have a massive graveyard.
Right. We should have a massive graveyard. Like, we could feasibly run some sort of LED line if we really wanted to. Or Underworld Breach line. We don't even need LED, but that's just another good way to get the ball rolling on the Exile fodder.
We don't even need to do an LED line. We can just Lotus Petal a million times.
I am trying to think of like... I'm trying to consider like alternative wins here, though. Outside of beats, obviously.
Yeah, we can do Underworld Breach with Triskaidekaphile and then one of the extra turn spells, the 2-mana red ones. That should be enough to just win us a game, usually.
All the discards, yeah, with LED. Mateus, I added Mana Vault. I don't know where I'm at on Mana Vault, but it will help us get there, so it's like it's good.
It covers the 2 for our commander. That's good enough for me.
And a Vexing Bauble. Okay.
We can theoretically just one-shot somebody by sacking LED, yeah.
Yeah. We could do that at any time. Are we on Underworld Breach? I'm sorry, that's what we're doing. So what are the core cards we want to include in this line of play?
You know, the funny Underworld Breach line we could totally do is Underworld Breach with the Horde extra combat spell, exile 2 red cards from your hand to cast it for free, and then we just stack discards on one creature and then go.
What's the Return of the Horde? What's it called?
Actually, we can do any extra combat spell. Literally any extra combat spell. Underworld Breach is game if we have it.
I guess so, isn't it?
Petal and Grave.
Well, hold up.
The thing we have to worry about is decking ourselves at that point. But if we're getting to the point where decking ourselves is a concern, I'm pretty sure we just win the game because we can just set up whatever the heck we want to set up.
Right. Well, we have Triskaidekaphile here, which is kind of cool because we should be able to potentially manipulate getting to 13 cards off turn, whether by its draw effect or our own.
What is the best?
I don't know what the best line is. Like, I don't want to add many cards outside of UB and then like the thing. I get what you're saying though. You're suggesting Will wants to do extra combat because feasibly we should be drawing, and then effectively ramping or doing more with our turn afterwards.
Additional combat. I should be able to find
Yeah,
this
it's like aggravated assault is a permanent one. Excuse me.
Fury of the Horde.
This is...
It's a 7 mana for sorcery. As you can exile 2 red cards from your hand rather than pay this card's cost. Untap all your creatures. Get an extra combat. I don't think we need that because literally Lotus Petal plus any extra combat is good enough. But it's an option.
Teamer Battle Rage. Is this for double strike?
And trample.
Right now I'm sort of just trying to figure out what our best line of play is with Underworld Breach. Do we add LED to this list to like ease any sort of play lines? It's not like we're on Wheel of Fortune.
I mean, like if we do Brain Freeze, then we just do the thing anyways with Lotus Petal and Brain Freeze. There's no world where we need LED to do the thing, other than if we wanted to do Wheel of Fortune. But I don't think we'd want to do Wheel of Fortune when we can just do what our commander does and then some other effect that we probably want to repeat.
Right. So what is the additional combat we want to use? Fury of the Horde, or how about the one with what is it called? What does it mean?
The free runner or the flashback?
It's the flashback one, the 4 CMC one.
Seize the day, untap one creature. There is an additional combat after this one.
Oh, you want to go all the way? You want to untap more things?
If we get like multiple attackers, sure, because then theoretically we never deck out if we can hit and kill other people.
I think Relentless Assault is the one we want then. It's 4 CMC.
Actually, I think the one we want is Great Train Heist, which is just untap all of your creatures and pick more modes, one of the other modes being +1/+0 and First Strike, so our attackers never die.
You know what? I totally forgot this card existed, but this is another 4 CMC.
Wait. Here's the Savage Beating. Savage Beating might be the best one. That's the 5 mana.
Right.
Either give all your things double strike or get an extra combat and has Entwine. That one's probably the best.
Great Train Heist is curious. We don't get an additional main phase with it, but it is instant speed. It's just we're not producing mana while we're doing this, so we do need a chance to like produce the mana for it. Sorry, you want to go with Savage Beating?
Yeah, hold on. We do want one that has an extra main phase. Yeah, we need one that has an extra main phase out of it. And Savage Beating and Train Heist don't have extra main phases.
Yeah, it would just be, I think it's Relentless Assault then. Because Relentless Assault reads, or there's Unnerving Assault. That's not.
Relentless Assault, Seize the Day.
There's additional combat phase followed by an additional main phase. Yeah.
Overpowering Attack, which is technically a 3 mana extra combat spell or 5 mana one, depending on if our commander connects.
Wait. Aki Battle Squad. Fear of Missing Out. I'm sorry, you did bring this up earlier, Mateus. Fear of Missing Out enters discard a card, then draw a card. Attacks for first time each turn. If there are 4 more card types in your graveyard, untap target creature. After this phase, there's an additional combat phase. I don't hate Fear of Missing Out.
It's not bad. It's not bad.
So we didn't add Slicer, but Mateus just brought up another card that's similar. Alexi's.
Yeah, it's Alexios is the that's what the card is, but Alexi is
Oh, I'm sorry. Is this I'm thinking of, are you thinking of something else? What is this?
Alexios is the one you're thinking of. So, I found out recently. Well, not recently. I found this out a while ago, but I haven't had a chance to bring it up. Alexios is trash because Trample is a may. I found this out. Trample says you may deal excess damage to the blocking creature's controller. Meaning, if somebody gets Alexios, they're forced to attack, and then they just say, I don't deal the damage. I deal all the damage to the creature, no damage to the face. And then it doesn't do anything. That is stupid. Trample should be a must.
Well, you heard it here first, people.
That annoys me.
Sorry, man. No, I agree. It's weird. It's an odd rule, but yeah. So no Alexios. Do you want to run Slicer though?
Yeah, we can run Slicer if we want another body. Honestly, I don't think I care about Slicer. I'd rather have one of the random guys I discussed with you beforehand. That's the Double Strike Tramplers.
Oh.
There's 2 potential Double Strike Tramplers that we can run, and it is either the Crimson Caravaneer, the Crimson Caravaneer, or the Prophet Flame Speaker. Both of these are double strike trample creatures that say, when this deals combat damage, do a thing. Funnily enough, the exact same thing, but in different ways. Crimson Caravaneer is get a junk token, which is an impulse draw clue without the cost to it. And Prophetic Flame Speaker is straight up impulse draw. But they're both double strike tramplers, meaning that we will net cards to our hand and they'll make it through because trample.
Do you have a preference here?
I like the Caravaneer more because we don't have to impulse draw. We can save it for later, and it's easier on the pip side. Flame
Agree.
Speaker's a red 1. This is 2 and a red.
How about the Embercleave?
There's rarely going to be enough attackers that Embercleave is actually an easy and cheap card. So I'm not the biggest fan of Embercleave. I'd want like Lizard Blades over Embercleave probably, but I also don't want Lizard Blades. I think that we just want like 1, maybe 2 Devil Strike effects to net cards. Because I'm pretty sure the rest of our deck is just going to be, is it good stuff? And then we're good.
Well, we're missing. So at this point, guys, we're really close to playtesting the list and seeing where it's at. We're 13 cards shy of a full deck. So,
Rhystic, Mystic.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna pull up an Izzet deck and then start. Actually, I'll pull up Scryfall and just look up good Izzet cards, and we'll be able to work our way from there.
Well, we just need the tutors and sort of the card quality effects. We have a bunch of card quality effects in here, but
Gamble, Mystical Tutor, Fabricate.
Fabricate. What about something like Agitator Ant?
What? It's Agitator.
You've never heard of Agitator Ant?
No.
It's one of the best cards in the game. For 2 generic and a red 2/2 body insect, obviously. At the beginning of your end step, each player may put +2/+1/+1 counters on a creature they control. Goad each creature that has counters put on it this way.
See, the issue with that is May.
Yeah. Embercleave lets you kill.
You know, one card we could potentially use? Roaming Throne.
Right. So the other thing that we did not talk about is we don't necessarily need double strike. We don't need to hit the player twice to deal damage. We could just double the trigger off of the one time. So things like Roaming Throne, there are other doublers, but I guess Roaming Throne's the best one because it is a body in and of itself.
I don't think there are other doublers, actually.
Is there not? If a triggered ability of another creature you control of the chosen type.
Weak name Pirate, probably.
Yeah, no, that could narrow it down a little bit. I mean, we don't have the monkey in here, but I guess that's another Ragavan. That's another pirate. Roaming Throne, Will?
Maybe.
Do we?
We're doubling all of our triggers, including on our opponent's turns, which means that we're going to get a lot of cards in hand and potentially insta-kill someone. I like it. And we don't even have to go like full send to do that. We can discard like 3 cards, draw 6, discard those 6, draw 12, discard those 12, draw 24. Oh, somebody blew up before we drew the 24. We still have 4 cards in hand.
Right. Astronic Resonator doesn't work. Or does it not work? Yeah, I don't know about Roaming Throne, man. It's only creatures you control. It costs 4.
Maybe. Because the thing is, it does nothing by itself.
Right.
That's why I don't like it.
Yeah. I mean, I need to get a bird's eye view of the list to see like how many creatures we still need, like because we do need body swinging.
Also, this was brought up before. Professional Facebreaker.
I put it in. I put that in.
Okay.
Yeah, I like the Professional Facebreaker. It's also good mana fixing.
You could add in Bluster Storm. I did not have that in the initial set of stuff. Oh, also
Malcolm.
Pyroblast and Red Blast.
Yeah. Oh, did we don't have this? Okay.
Mental Misstep is in there, right?
I don't know. Let me look. Mental Misstep.
It is not. Okay, Mental Misstep goes in.
Is the free one in there where you exile all spells in the stack? What is it called? The Trap?
Mindbreak Trap. That is not in there, but we can put that in there, yeah.
Yeah, I'll put Mindbreak Trap as well. What else do we need?
Imperial Recruiter finds our discard effects.
Right. Imperial Recruiter.
Pilferer was like a wizard rogue ghost.
Do we want any of the bodies? Like, they're actually quite good here. the trinket mages, the ones that find, because that's just a body that can attack. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we'd probably find one that can search for 3 just to find the patchwork.
Which one is that again? Do you remember?
Trophy mage.
Cost of 3.
Was I right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which one does one search for 4?
Yes, the new one, 4 and 5.
Right. Do we want to get the One Ring out of our deck?
Nah, we do generic artifact searches to find the One Ring.
I put Fabricate in here already. Trophy, I think. Thank you. Do we want to run Malcolm Glinthorn?
No, I think we just punch people hard enough as is. I mean, our commander is a pirate.
I know, right? That's a good suggestion, by the way. If you guys don't, I mean, I assume you all know the Malcolm Glinthorn combo, but this is specifically the partner, Malcolm Keen-Eyed Navigator. So he does make treasures, so it is quite good for fixing, especially for on Blood Moon. I don't hate it.
I was going to say like 100% no, but the fact that our commander is a pirate from Malcolm is actually decent.
Yeah. Also, we're discarding.
Our commander's probably always getting blocked though, because if we attack with our commander and someone just says I don't block, we say cool 21 commander damage.
We just need enough removal, Will. You put Lightning Bolt and a Braid, as well as Chain of Vapor and Flood into the Flood Maw. I don't know. Screw it. Let's do that. I like that. Okay. Actually, I don't hate this. This is a good idea. Malcolm Keen-Eyed Navigator and Glinthorn Buccaneer.
If we want like a super greedy move, one thing we could do, which I do not recommend, is a Reaver Cleaver. Give +1/+1 trample, and when this creature deals combat damage, you make that many treasures. I don't think we should do that, but funny idea.
Reaver Cleaver here. Glinthorn has discard on it. Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
He does. He is a discard utility. Update, the shrimp burrito is better than the carnitas from the local spot. Sean. Well, I want to just rank these for you guys. If you're ever in Queens, there's a place called Semita's El Tigre. I believe it's a chain. I think there's more than just the one, but it goes their fish burrito. Then I would say their chicken burrito. And then I would go for the shrimp burrito, and then everything else. I don't care how you order it. But their fish burrito is in fact the best. Semita's. People sometimes go there for the Semitas. Get the burritos. Way better. Okay. Anything, Bueller? Anything else we want to add to this?
How many cards do we need?
We have 100.
Perfect. Beautiful.
Okay. I'm super jet lagged still, by the way. I've gotten 4 hours of sleep since I've been back. And I've been back for 3 days. So if I look tired, I probably should have led with that. It's been bad. My body is just waking up at odd times. I almost fell asleep earlier today. It was just so bad. Got everything I needed done though. It's great, but I'm definitely ready to chillax for the rest of the eve. So I'm looking at it. Can you guys see this? Can you see this? Well, we got Heuristic Study, the One Ring, Volcanic Island, Ottawara, Prismatic Vista, Chain of Vapor, and a Brade. Do you like this, Will?
I mean, this is slow, but it's very control heavy, and we have Heuristic Study, the One Ring, Chain of Vapor, Braid. Like, we can probably control out the game enough with this to live.
Raya, to answer your question, have we talked about Quicksmith Genius or Transplant Theorist? The answer is no. And you're mentioning this because we have Underworld Breach in the list. To be honest, I feel like we're not doing enough with the Underworld Breach. So whenever an artifact enters under your control, you may discard a card if you do draw a card. So, Quicksmith Genius isn't a bad idea. Especially with any of the token generators, by the way. Like the one we included that makes the junk.
Yeah, I think the other one is cast an artifact, do the same, but it's for 2 mana.
Preference?
I don't
You
I
don't
don't
think we need it?
think we need it. There's definitely a version that runs that card.
Oh,
But
did I
think,
add? No, I did not add intuition. I'm sorry. Yeah, we can add
yeah,
intuition.
we cut intuition just because yes, you can do Underworld Breach stuff with intuition, but we're going through our deck so much right now that I don't think we need intuition. Our graveyard's already filled so much.
Do we want Brain Freeze main board or just have it on the side as a thought?
We'll keep it off to the side right now. I think that we can set up enough for a win off of Breach, so we should be fine.
All right, let's try that again, folks. What do we got? Pact of Neg, Remand. Will, what are you doing to me?
Oh wait, I thought I cut Remand from there. Okay, well we can swap out Remand for something.
Wait, yeah. I'm sorry, I didn't look at all the. Not that that's a bad card. When did I add
This
Seething
is from
Song?
my Gale list, which uses Remand as a combo piece.
Wait. This does not make any sense. I didn't add Seething Song.
I 100% cut Seething Song before saying that to you. That was in the instance.
Oh.
Yeah, what the crap? I removed Seething Song. Why the fuck is it there? Okay, yeah, remove
Here.
Seething Song, remove, what was the other one that you found?
Remand.
Remand. Seething Song and Remand. Those were from me, those were from the Gale list.
That's okay. Yeah.
Let me copy instance.
What do you want to add in here that we're missing? I feel like we're probably missing some form of removal or interaction. Is anyone else waiting for White Vanilla Legend to be spoiled? Want to see the whole cycle?
Oh yeah, we have like the octopus, Oh yeah, do you know about this, Patrick?
I'm not aware of any new cycle, but
So
I've seen a lot of the cards.
We have a cycle of legendary creatures that are just vanilla beaters. So we have, let's see if I found them. We have a crocodile, which is 1 black for a 7/2, no effects. We have 1 in a red for a 4/1 dinosaur warrior with no effect. We have 2 green, so 5 mana, for a 9/7 dinosaur ooze with no effects. And then later on, like a day or two later, we got 1 in a blue for a 0/8 octopus with no effects. And all of these are legendaries. It's funny. We're waiting for the white one. It's funny.
I like it. I'm putting Invasion of Kaldheim on the sideboard as well, so I actually thought that was interesting.
Do we have like one of the things that we were talking about for win cons for Underworld Breach? Like just an extra turn spell or an extra combat spell? Either wins the game.
I put Relentless Assault.
Okay.
And nothing else. Do I put Labman?
That's fine. We don't need Labman.
You don't want a dual caster mage in this deck? Actually, dual caster's kind of good.
We could potentially do dual caster. I don't think that we need it, but we could potentially.
It's just a body. It has 3/2 for 1. I already have Isamaru. Okay, sure. Let's rectify this. Let's correct this.
We have Facebreaker.
What are we missing?
We have Ragavan, right?
Yeah, we do. We do indeed. Okay, so I'm taking out the Remand. Where is the Remand?
What's the new good removal thing, like Ghost Flame Slash?
Oh, yeah, we can add that. Ghost Flame Slash. Ghost Flame Slash!
I think that's what it's called.
I take it. Let's do it. It does 4 damage to your mom, right?
Oh no, it's not Ghost Flame Slash. What's it called then?
Ghost Fire?
Ghost Fire.
Blade? Slice. Ghost Fire Slice?
Yeah, it was Slice.
Ghost Fire Slice, baby. Did you guys add Inti? Inti, the guy that's riding a Triceratops?
Yeah, Inti is, when you discard a card, you Impulse Draw, I believe.
No.
And he when he attacks, you discard a card.
Oh,
Actually, you discard a
Inti.
card, put a counter on him, and give him trample, which is actually actually is a
Ooh.
target attacking creature. Whenever you attack, not whenever this attacks, you may
Yeah.
discard a card, put a +1/+1 counter on target attacking creature, and
Inti,
give it trample.
Inti. The Seneschal of the Sun. You know what? You've just been promoted. Now
See,
you're high Seneschal now. You don't like him? You
yeah,
don't
you
like
know
it
what?
too?
Good enough. Good enough. I like NT because we attack, we buff our commander with a counter and give him trample, and then we discard stuff and get in. I like that. My one concern was we're impulse drawing every single time we discard a card, which means that we may deck ourselves very quickly, but we can play that card until until our next end step. So we can actually play those cards that we discard on our opponent's turns.
This is a weird deck, dude.
Yeah.
There's some just random shit in here.
I'm sorry, when we are building a deck around a pirate shark that's traveling between dimensions because he wants to win a race, did you expect this to be normal?
I guess not, dude. Wait, I'm gonna get rid of the Seagate Restoration. I know that's probably a
When
bad
he's
call.
racing against like an army of goblins, an army of undead, while trying to avoid getting hit by an army of oozes and a frickin' edgelord psychopath who's brainwashing people because he got too much edgy sauce on him.
Edgy sauce. So what the kids
Yes.
are calling it. Wait, Will, how do you feel about this hand? This feels good. Hear me out. Arid Mesa, just a one-lander. But hear me out. We have Inti, we have Fairy Mastermind, we have Izzet Signet, we have Relentless Assault, we have Ghostly Pilferer, all of our creature bodies that are 2 CMC.
I
and
like it because Rite of Flame into Signet.
And Rite of
then
Flame.
all of the draw engines in the world.
Exactly. So, do we keep it? Cross your fingers?
Yep.
All right. Draw a card. Hey, another land. Okay, so we're going to go Arid Mesa. And we're going to get a Volk Island, because that's what you do.
Arid Masaw, dude.
Arid Mesa, brah. And then we're going to go Arcane Signet. Sadly, Arcane Signet does not tap by itself. Rather obnoxious. I mean, we could just put Inti down, dude, and just get the ball. Wait, do you hate it if I just, like, put Inti down instead?
I don't think getting Inti down is the plan.
Will, come on. I don't need Relentless Assault. Let me discard it. Whenever you discard one or more cards, we could technically Inti here, and we would be just as good next turn.
If you...
Well, wait, okay, that's not true. That's not entirely
Fairy
true.
Mastermind next turn feels better.
Yeah, but I could do Fairy Mastermind, Seln Signet. I get what you're saying. You want to set us up for success.
Well, like, because if we do Inti this turn, the next turn is Land, Signet, Pass, and then it's Fairy Mastermind on turn 3.
Or realistically, our commander. I don't know. Yeah, okay, I'm sorry. This is such a weird, dumb choice. We are going to go for Izzet Signet. I do think that is the logical choice. And then someone like mass removes all artifacts or something. All right. Next turn.
Turn 2.
We've got a Faithless Looting. You like that shit?
Yeah, that's fixing.
Yeah.
We can play that and Mastermind.
Let's start with the Flooded Strand. I'll do the Flooded Strand first, and we're not tracking life because you know what? It doesn't matter. What is the non-Volk Island? Fire. Nope.
Steam Vents.
Steam Vents. Steamy vents. There they are. We gonna shock ourselves? Probably, right?
Yeah. Life total doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't. Do we want a Faithless Looting here? Of course, right?
Yeah.
The question is, of all these cards, it's Fairy Mastermind, right?
We're gonna be playing Fairy Mastermind. Like, that's what we're probably playing. But for Faithless Looting, we can discard the Relentless Assault and something else. Sure. I don't know the other things we have yet.
I'm sorry. It is draw 2, then trash 2. It's a proper loot. So I did find Patchwork Gnomes.
we already have Ghostly Pilfer. We can dump the gnomes.
Right. So we'll get rid of the gnomes and we'll get rid of the Relentless Assault. We only really need that once we have the other thing.
We'll play it from grave later. We're cool.
Right.
We're cool like
we could technically put the tally out now, but I think it's something we want to wait on.
Yeah, Mateus, we did add Inti because he gives trample to our commander and discard stuff and gets more draw for discarding stuff. So Inti is good.
So this is turn 2. We're gonna flash out Fairy Mastermind because we can.
Yeah.
And next turn.
We moved to combat and put him in because we're cool like that.
Yeah. That's exactly what we did. We're gonna go ahead and look at this island we just drew. Never punished. All right, Will, how do you want to do this?
Probably draw like 1 card off Fairy Mastermind and then draw for our turn.
Whenever opponent draws their second card each turn, sure.
Somebody probably drew a card, or somebody got 2 Rhystic Study triggers or something.
Right. Okay. Do we
can
play the captain now?
Yeah, we can play captain.
Sure. Okay, so we'll fuel the Signet and we'll go here, and play Captain Howler. Sure, I'll swing with the Fairy Mastermind. Why not? And that's it. That's all she wrote. Okay, cross our fingers. No one tries to win here. We're going a little slow. I feel a little slow. I don't hate it.
Well, we can assume that Mastermind drew another card again.
And the next turn, the fabled next turn. All right, everybody, don't forget, we've got Faithless Looting in the Grave.
Well, I mean, here it's just kind of probably Ghostly Pilfer and then do the Pilfer thing. Right. Maybe play Inti as well, because Inti lets us impulse draw on other people's turns.
I was kind of thinking that too, Mateus. So, like, our commander isn't really crucial to doing the thing. He just needs to be there, right? So I was contemplating, do we just play Inti and Ghostly Pilfer last turn and then drop Captain Howler this turn so that we just go for it with 3 attackers?
You can do that. If you want to say we did that, we can do that, because it's a draw engine for the other two. So.
I do think it just lines us up a little bit better. But let's just say we did that. So I don't disagree. I was thinking about that as we were doing it. So let's do this instead. We'll go Island Signet, same sort of line of play to get Captain Howler down. So now we have 3 potential attackers. There's no way we could put the tally down in the midst of this. We don't have another thing. Okay, that's okay.
And we probably drew 1 card off Ghostly Pilfer as well. Somebody probably played their commander.
Whenever Ghostly Pilfer becomes whenever to put a cast a spell from anywhere other than the hand, that's fair. Okay, well, with that knowledge, we do get a command tower. Okay, same mana value, more possibilities, hit with the ability. No, 100% agree. 100% agree. All right, so we got a free draw off of Ghostly Pilfer, a free draw off of Fairy Mastermind. We have Inti, Ghostly Pilfer, and Fairy Mastermind ready and able to attack. How do we want to do this? I think we first start by discarding a card, right?
Well, I think we start by probably keep command tower in hand, because we're gonna impulse draw off Inti and we can play lands off of Inti.
That's fair.
So I think that we...
Well, hold up. We could have played Tally if we played Command Tower. I'm just saying.
I don't think we need mana, though. I think that we just try to punch as hard as we can right now.
So what do you want to discard off of Ghostly Pilfer?
First we move to combat and attack with a Fairy Mastermind, and we can discard... let's say they're Double Strike Trample. We don't need the Double Strike Trampler anymore.
I mean, these technically can all attack. You don't want to attack with all of them?
We don't really... we can if you want. Like, we can attack with Ghostly Pilfer as well, but we Inti something first just because we attacked with something.
Right, it's on the...
We give something a counter and trample.
Alright.
And we can see what we impulse off of Inti.
I'm just trying to see, is there not a better way to go about this? I guess the only thing we can really do...
instant speed. Everything we're about to do is instant speed, other than Inti, which is like a locked-in time frame.
All right, so...
I think we can discard Command Tower, because we're about to draw, like, 10 cards.
I kind of want to attack with Inti, too, and, like, put the +1/+1 counter on him. Just need to find a good target.
I don't want to attack with Inti, because he's the only thing that can die from combat.
I don't think there's going to be a trick coming our way. I just think we need to find the right target. Oh, it doesn't really matter. He can get the +1/+1 counter either way. Are you just planning on putting it on
one thing to connect? That's all that we care about.
All right. I'll put the +1/+1 counter on the mastermind then.
All right. So we discard command tower, then we impulse draw it, and then get a captain on fairy mastermind as well, probably.
I mean, what are the 2 discard options for you? I mean, I feel like command tower is still a land for a turn, but we could do.
We can do the double strike one first. The double strike guy can be discarded first, and then we can see what we impulse into.
I feel like we got quite a few bot A's. All right, so boop, attack. We attacked. +1/+1 counter. It's trampling. It's in the air. Whenever you discard a card, blah, doop. Chain of Vapor off the top rope. That's okay. Hate having that in exile. All right, so we attack. It gets. It's going to be a 5/2 swinging in the air, and
we can, if we want, we can discard literally everything else one at a time and impulse draw 5. Or 4 more. 5 in total.
Oh, you're talking about getting this trigger here off of Inti?
Yeah, we just use a pilfer to discard one at a time.
What do you want to discard though? Let's
everything.
For me, it doesn't matter if we're attacking at this point, does it? You just want to discard 1 or more cards. Oh, you want to stack the Captain Howler trigger?
Yeah, so we're getting Inti and Captain Howler, so we're impulse drawing 5 and Captain Howlering to get 5.
Hey, Angelus. Sorry. So there's a lot of trigger-related happenings here, so I just want to make sure that we're getting our T's and Q's straight. Is that what it is? But I'm happy you're here for the latter half of this. The playtesting is nutty. Sure. Let's get rid of Into the Flood Mob as I'm looking at Chain of Vapor.
I just say like everything gets hit because it shouldn't matter. We're gonna draw 5 and then have a 5.
Well, provided our shit doesn't die or whatever. But yeah. We could hit 2 lands.
If you want to do it the safe way, we can say that we command towered. We played command tower and kept up red elemental blast.
Right, or pyroblast. No, that's cool. Do you want to discard the pyroblast here?
Well, I mean, we can't cast it right now.
We can't cast it right now, but I'm gonna play a land. Like we'll be able to cast it.
We can do that.
All right, so Fear of Missing Out is kind of dead, and Chain of Vapor is kind of dead. But we do have Misty Rainforest and a Mountain. I think we just play the Mountain because I think we only have singles of basics in this, and I don't think we have any snow basics in the deck. So Misty Rainforest is kind of a dead card anyways. So that'll remain exiled. Chain of Vapor will remain exiled, and Fear of Missing Out, sadly, will also remain exiled. We did, well, I mean, that's not entirely true. Maybe we can cast that. So we did 4 triggers, so we'll get to draw 4 cards.
Yep.
And
we dealt 11 damage.
2, 4, 6, 8, 11, plus 1 off of Inti. No, more off of Inti.
I calculated it all. It's 11. It's 2 off Fairy Mastermind, 1 off of Inti, and then 8 off of Captain.
Okay.
No, it's Arcane Sign. I was going to say, is that a Soul Ring?
9, 10. Okay. No, it's not Soul Ring, sadly. That's it. I think we passed with that. We're speaking of Soul Ring, we have the Urza Saga. We're holding a Pyroblast, but that's about it. Right. And you think we get at least 1 draw off the Fairy Mastermind? What do we want to predict here?
We can say like 1 draw, and we do the captain thing with Inti in play on everybody else's turn. So if we're not winning here, we're at least getting a very good setup here because we're impulse drawing a lot of cards and cycling through our hand a lot.
Right. So let's just, I got the 1 free draw for the Fairy Mastermind. So the thing we're doing right now, just for reference, is Ghostly Pilfer. We're just discarding cards off Ghostly Pilfer to trigger Captain to allocate power / draw off of opposing attacks. And if only one person attacks, that's totally fine. We could just discard to that one attack. So we're going to do Wooded Footies, and the same thing. NT pops off when we discard one of our cards. You could blah, 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 blah. We get Muddle the Mixture. Sure.
That's a good card just because it can find us the Ghostly Pilfer or a Triskaidek File or a couple other things.
I will discard the Null Rod, Ristic Study off the top. It's not the end of the world. I'm holding a Force of Negation, but I'm not holding any blue cards right now. I'll get rid of the Arcane Signet. And we have a Soul Ring off the top. I'll get rid of the Urza Saga.
By the way, we can play the Inti cards until our next end step.
Oh.
So these cards are viable on our next turn.
Okay, so do we want to hold the Force of Negation and Pyroblast? So right now we've exiled Muddle the Mixture, Ristic Study, and Soul Ring. We have those till the end of our next turn. And we're about to net 3 draw here. I want to keep the Pyro for some interaction, and then if we draw a blue spell, we have Force of Negation.
Wait, didn't we have... We're going to draw 4 cards, aren't we? Because we had 6 cards, right?
No, only 5.
Yeah.
Oh. No, I discarded Wooded Footies. I discarded Wooded Footies, Null Rod, Arcane Signet, and Urza Saga.
Yeah, and we drew Force of Negation, so we had 6 cards in hand, so we should draw back up to 6. And we should have 4 cards in exile.
Right, so we have Lorien Revealed. That's the other one. Hopefully you guys can see this. 2, 3, 4. We pulled to do a Psych Rift, a Force of Will, and a Sulfur Falls. Okay, let's say that one more person attacks. I feel like they should probably wreck our shit at this point. Or at least I would.
I feel like people just don't attack because they don't want to feed us anymore, so we probably only got the 1.
That's fair. Next turn?
Yep.
We have an Offer You Can't Refuse. We could say we Pyroblast it off turn just to limit our options a little bit. All right, what do you want to do? I kind of want to drop that Soul Ring really quick.
Yeah, we can drop the Soul Ring, and then I think we hold the land drop for Inti. Because the higher our hand size, the more likely we are to kill somebody.
Do you want to play the Ristic Study just now?
Yeah,
like
I like
just
that.
Soul Ring Izzet Signet into Ristic Study, get that out of the way.
Yep.
We're threatening, they see the Muddle the Mixture, they don't see the Force of Will, Offer You Can't Refuse, Force them to Negate. We've got a lot of shit. So I'm not too worried about losing our creatures at this point. We are going to discard, like Will was saying, everything else. I don't think we need to bounce anything. Well, I'm pretending here, but I think on the chopping block, it's going to be in this order, just the lands, then the Psych Rift, and everything else. So let's go ahead and attack. We'll do Fairy Mastermind. We could Ghostly Pilfer here, because why not? And then you want to keep Inti up.
Yeah, just because I don't want Inti to die by something random, like a random blocker.
Yeah. Do we attack with Captain Howler?
We can attack. We can probably attack with Captain Howler. And
probably safe. Okay, so we'll go ahead, and it's only the Pilfer that's unblockable. I'm looking at the deck list now. Have you considered the new Monument to Endurance? No, but Conspiracy Theorist, also no. So
Conspiracy Theorist is a cool card that I was thinking of, but it is just when it attacks, you can pay 1, discard a card, and draw a card. When you discard 1 or more, choose one of them, exile it. You may play that card this turn. It's interesting. It's not that great. For the Monument is really good in any commander that discards cards consistently. Our commander does not do that. Our commander wants us to discard stuff. So I wouldn't include Monument, but I think Monument is an amazing card.
Okay, so I did the trigger off of Inti, so when we attack, you may discard a card. I put the +1/+1 counter on our captain. Did the Ghostly Pilferer thing, so he's unblockable. Okay, and let's keep going. I'll get rid of the Psych Rift. We have a Swan Song. We have Lorien Revealed, Muddle the Mixture, Red Elemental Blast, and Swan Song. I don't believe we can transmute that, sadly, but it's interesting to note that transmute is also a discard, by the way. All right, we could get rid of offer you can't refuse at this point. Like we're holding an REB in exile, so it's like we've got the option. We also just saw Fierce Guardianship. So
Muddle, Swan, and
yeah, we have a gross amount of interaction, let alone the 2 blue spells in our hand. Do you want to just get rid of the Force of Will at this? I could probably just get rid of both of these. Like we're holding so much interaction here. And just keep piling on.
Is only until the end of this turn.
Well, I know. I guess what I'm saying is that if we're gonna pile on damage, we might as well pile it on now.
Yeah, we can do that.
I could hold at least the Force of Will if you want to do that.
We can dump everything because we have enough that we're defending on this turn. Then we connect and we draw that many cards.
Right. So let's just say that we do need to use the REB for like a Chain of Vapor, and we'll use the Swan Song on something else. We do that to the person that gives them a blocker.
We probably Fierce Guardianship before we Swan Song to save mana.
Yeah, let's do that instead. I think I had an island up. Here, it's fine. We'll do the Force.
It was Volcanic Island, Steam Vents, and Island were the forces we had up.
All right, so all of that said and done, we did how many? 1,
6, I believe.
2, 3. I think you're right. I think it is 6 cards, Will.
I'm going back through the stream just to because we said we played the Pyroblast from our hand, and then we had 6 at the start of the turn. So yeah, it was 6.
Yeah, we want payoffs, but we also just want the utilities that give us the discard. So, so far as the 6 is concerned, we are going to allocate it differently. I mean, we could just go 2, 2, and 2, I guess. Right?
It doesn't matter. We probably actually stack all of them on our commander for commander damage.
Okay.
And he has trample because of Inti.
This is true. He is now a 6/5 and 6 times 2, 12, 18 commander damage. Okay, so we're going to just do 18 commander damage. Rhystic Study is also giving us draws if they are doing things. So we said that they did 1 spell that needed Fierce Guardianship and 1 spell that needed Pyro. So if that's true before damage, we
kill someone.
We just keep going. Yeah. So we're gonna keep doing this.
Oh look, 2 cards. We discard the 2 cards. We deal more damage.
Yeah, Rhystic into Captain is pretty nasty. So we see Otawara and we see Polluted Delta. We've not played our land this turn. We'll probably play the Otawara at this point. All right. That's death. That is just death for someone.
Someone is dead.
Yeah, so that one person's dead. We'll get to draw cards. That's 8 total?
Yes.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. I have a Mox. Okay, I'm just gonna play the Mox Time and I'll get rid of the Fire Izzet. I'll play the Chrome Mox. We don't have any multicolored spells here, but I don't think we need to
also get the impulse off of Indy because of the diamond.
Yeah, I guess we do. One of you discard a card. Thank you. So we put an Ash Barrens into exile. So which ones are good until the end of our next end step? I mean, it would be these. All of these are gone. All of these are gone.
Or until the next end step. So we lose all of the exile things.
Never mind.
The end of turn.
I'm getting rid of the Fabricate for the Chrome Mox because I can't think of anything we need to search for. I kind of want to play out the Felwar Stone. Oh, let's play the Lotus Petal. Sorry. Right?
Yeah.
And we do get a land per turn. Again, it's probably going to be Otawara as much as I love Ash Barrens. Just play the Otawara. Okay, Will, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 mana, excluding Lotus Petal. What do you want to play next?
Do we want to play the One Ring?
The answer is always yes.
Yeah.
The answer is always yes. We could also play Land's Edge, which is...
It's discard. We already have discard.
We don't need this now. Yeah, okay. We'll use our artifacts because you never know. So 1, 2, 3, and then we'll use Otawara 4. We'll play the One Ring. Draw?
Yeah.
Okay, we have Artist Talent. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, you may discard a card if you do draw a card. Hot damn. I'm not going to cast that yet, but I really want to. I think we're good.
I'm pretty sure we just win from here. We already have so much interaction. A player's dead, another player's on death's door, one player hasn't been hit yet, but we probably buffed to let that player get hit. I think we just win.
I think we just passed here. It's also important to note, I know this seems maybe a little far-fetched just watching, but Captain Howler does have like a high ward cost. It's not Tivit level, but it's not easy to interact with outside of like mass removal, right? Non-targeted. The things they could have done to stop us, we did actually have interaction 4. Like our engine did take a little while. It's turn 5. It didn't really take that long.
Yeah,
I don't know.
We had interaction pretty much the whole game, so if someone tried winning, we probably stop them.
I like the deck, and I just want to see it do the thing one more time, potentially. I don't see how people come back from this unless they rip a gnarly Psych Rift. But yeah, that would be the only thing I think that could really stop us here, is some sort of mass removal. Because we have Deflecting Swat, that's not going to work. We have Mental Misstep, that's not going to work. And obviously we get a Ristic Study, so unless it's like a... No. Okay. So they could stop us, but they need to be very fortunate with what they pull. I want to give it one more rip.
And well, even if they do hit it, we can just discard our whole hand, then Inti to impulse.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we still have a chance to get out.
Right. Yeah. That's excluding just the Ristic draw.
But yes, Inti, very good inclusion.
Yeah, no, I agree. The Inti off turn is clutch. So this next hand, Mindbreak Trap, Mox Diamond, Exotic Orchard, Command Tower, an offer you can't refuse, Fierce Guardianship, and Ledger Shredder. This is not horrible.
Yeah, this is the turn 1 Ledger Shredder and then 3 counter spells. I like it.
Okay. We pulled Otawara. I'm going to play the Command Tower. I'm going to pitch the Exotic Orchard. And we'll drop the Ledger Shredder.
The burb.
Seems good. Mindbreak Traps. We'll hopefully not need it now. I don't know who's really ripping and like going off right this instance, but it could happen. Maybe some... what's that Kobold's name again? Rock.
Yeah.
We pull a Pyro... Yeah, we're gonna go...
We probably got like 2 Ledger Shredder triggers.
You imagine we connived?
So we probably connived like twice. So it's a discard and draw.
Right. Is it discard and draw or draw and discard?
Discard and draw.
No. Draw a card, then discard a card. So ignore the Pyroblast. No, that's not true. We'll draw and discard from here. So I'll draw and I'll discard. I discard the Mindbreak Trap. And then I will draw and discard again. It's a Mystic Remora, so we're keeping that. We're not at Fierce Guardianship, and to me, the offer you can't refuse and Pyroblast are better. So I do want my land per turn, so I'll get rid of the Fierce Guardianship. I know these feel weird. I'll draw for turn. We have a Felwar Stone. Okay. Okay, we're going to Otawara, and then I think we just Otawara in the Mystic Remora. Let's just say we have to stop a Mental Misstep and with Pyroblast. And that's our second spell this turn, so put a counter on Ledger Shredder, and then we'll draw a card. We get Relentless Assault, which is going to go right in the grave. I'll hold an offer you can't refuse and go from there. All right, so outside of Ledger Shredder, like how many people do you think will feed the fish? I think we could probably get like 1 or 2 draw just from the fish.
Yep.
Right. And this is again guesstimating, but
I would probably get 1 2. Yeah, we'll say 2 draw.
This is turn 2. I feel like we're being very modest here. There's always that one player who's just particularly greedy, but I feel like they would have gone turn 1 with their greed as opposed to turn 2.
Also, I probably would have gone greedy and played the Felwar Stone as well that turn.
Could we have ripped... Oh, and just not held interaction?
Yeah.
Potentially. We're taking our 2 draw, and then we'll go to next turn. We have a Swan Song here. Are we gonna pay the upkeep cost? I think so. So the
'Cause
way
we can...
I see us playing just the Felwar Stone and then passing, honestly.
Okay.
And then just having the Mystic at 1 counter.
Would have been good to play the Felwar last turn, because we could play either Patchwork or Inti.
Yeah, it's tough. Like, we didn't know those were available. I just knew I had Offer You Can't Refuse, so...
Yeah.
But I'm happy to drop Inti next turn. Like, we're pretty far... I agree. Like, we're kind of far from doing the Captain Howler thing right now, but I do think that Inti, with Patchwork, obviously, is going to be really good. So we should hopefully pull a land here and be able to do both.
Probably say, like, 3 Mystic, 1 Leisure Shredder.
Yeah, and let's do 1 Swan Song in the aftermath. That's maybe what prompts one of the Ledger Shredders. So you're saying draw a 4 or 5?
Drawing 4 cards, discarding 1.
Yeah, so let's just do this one at a time. We'll do the Ledger Shredder first. So
we get like Mystic Remora triggers than Leisure Shredder, because some of the Mystic Remora stuff would have been for the Leisure Shredder. Like 2 cards per turn, draw off Mystic.
Yeah. So if that's the case, then let's just say we have those. Well, fuck it. It's hard to guesstimate here. Of these things, I would discard the Underworld Breach if I had a choice.
Wait, you discard the thing that wants things in graveyard? Underworld Breach is probably better than Malcolm.
We've got a real shit grave right now, though, and it requires exiling 3 cards.
We're gonna have a pretty good grave later.
Okay.
We're about to get our engine going.
Okay. I'm with you. I mean, like, we are holding gamble, so it's not like this deck wins with Underworld Breach on the spot.
Yeah.
So, like, gamble Underworld Breach is not as sexy as some other decks, okay? At any rate, we'll draw for turn. We should be going sideways with Ledger Shredder as well. I'm sorry. Like, that should be obvious.
Still, we have been doing that.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So we're not hitting any lands. So I think that's sort of our issue right now. But we did hit Desperate Ritual, so we're gonna let Mystic go, and we're gonna do bop. I think we'll do Desperate Ritual to go up to 5 total. I do think we drop Inti
and Patchwork probably.
Yeah, but we're just ass out. I mean, is being ass out on turn 4 as bad as being ass out on turn 2? That's the real question, because I think this would have determined whether we were greedy or not previously. It really depends on what your matchups are. But, like, I don't know, if I feel like someone's is playing, there's always that one list that's trying to be greedy or quick. So it's like, I like to maintain interaction for that, but I don't disagree with Will. Maybe in this instance it would have been better to go greedy on turn 2.
Let's see. So theoretically, if we wanted here, we could do... We could stack the Mystic Remora and then play just Patchwork, and we might be able to get enough mana for our commander next turn and still keep up interaction this turn.
Oh, Rhea, on Madness, is it bad that we're not considering Madness in this deck?
So Madness isn't super useful for the deck just because Izzet doesn't have like a ton of great Madness effects. We might be able to use like maybe 1, maybe 2 good Madness effects, but it's iffy. Because we need to have the engine going for Madness cards to be useful.
So I'm with you. You're thinking that we should just do Patchwork Gnomes right now.
Yeah, because then we can keep up the mana for the Offer You Can't Refuse if you want, and then we can keep the Ritual.
Do you... Oh, I'm thinking we go Ritual, Gamble, hold for Offer You Can't Refuse. Like Command Tower the Gamble. Is that crazy? It's a 1 in 4 chance of... The thing we want to discard is Insignet.
Well, the thing is, either way, in the end, we're just getting a mana for commander next turn. We can either use the Ritual to get the mana next turn, or we can get the land. So it doesn't really change anything if we're using the Ritual to gamble and hold up the mana. So I don't think we use the Ritual to cast the gamble. But I think that if Leisure Shredder draws us a land, we're in like the best possible shape, which we have a decent chance to.
What is the best gamble target right now?
Actually,
Soul Ring.
you know what the play is.
Hold
the
up.
play is
Let's walk this back. Let's walk this back.
it's Izzet Signet into Inti, because we have Leisure Shredder trigger, which will trigger Inti doing the thing, and we can use Inti to discard and find another thing. But what do we discard off of Inti if we do that?
Okay, so let's see this. You don't want to gamble though. You're not into gamble.
I'm not into gamble, just because gambling for mana doesn't change anything for us here.
I mean, it just sets us up so firmly next turn. Like if we were to get a Soul Ring, it really does alleviate some pressure for like that turn.
Yeah, there's the risk that we lose our discard outlet though, because if we discard our Patchwork, we're in horrible shape. If we discard Inti, we're not that happy.
No, it's 1 in 6 chance though. I mean, it's 2. Well, so 2 cards.
Yeah, if we're playing the Ritual and then we're playing...
But we've got Underworld Breach, Will. We could just play Underworld Breach into Patchwork Gnomes. That is the saddest play. Imagine if we did that.
My favorite play here is it Signet into Inti and then attack with Leisure Shredder, discarding something to get an Inti. Oh,
All right.
Also that would... Oh man, that's... Ordering, sad. Because we get the Leisure Shredder trigger with Inti on the stack.
He is conniving while it is on the stack.
Yeah.
I mean, we could technically cast Inti first.
But we don't. We could, but we don't.
Sure. All right, so we've connived. We draw. What do you want to discard? We got Magus of the Moon.
We discard Magus of the Moon. We're just keeping up interaction. That's going to be our game plan for control.
Right. Let's say we need to use the offer we can't refuse off turn though. Let's just do a Ledger Shredder on the stack for that. I pulled an island. What are we gonna connive away here? I'm sorry, I should be tapping this guy. I know I'm not doing that at all.
So you drew an island.
I guess I discard the Desperate Ritual. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We'll have 6 mana next turn.
Yeah, so we can play our commander, but we can't play our discard outlet.
Yeah,
so
you want a Desperate Ritual and Patchwork Gnomes.
Honestly, it might be discard Gamble, because we can use Underworld Breach with Gamble when we want to actually try to win.
Right. So there's the offer you can't refuse. We had to use that. All right. Are we going to connive any more times this turn?
And what do we impulse off Inti for the connive?
Oh, Chant of Vapor.
Nice.
Not horrible. All right. Let's just say we get the 1 Ledger Shredder trigger. Things are slowing down.
Yeah.
Okay, so next turn. It is turn 5. We were in a very different place last game. That's okay.
Yeah.
we'll get there again.
We're in a horrible place in this game, though, if I'm being completely honest.
Yeah, thank you. Don't forget the impulse draw on Vinci. Yeah, we got there. I got there.
Yeah, how big is our graveyard right now? Can we do breach stuff?
I think we're just 11 deep. And there's really not anything great to breach right now, sadly. We do have our rituals suck in there.
I mean, we do the thing.
Yeah. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and tap an island for the Izzet Signet to Desperate Ritual. We will Desperate Ritual out with the it doesn't matter, Otawara.
We're tapping out, playing Desperate Ritual, and then playing our commander in Patchwork.
Yeah.
And we're getting a connive trigger at some point, and that without our commander in play, and discarding a lightning bolt.
This is true. Well, I mean, we draw first. We have Sulfur Falls, Will.
We discard Sulfur Falls then.
Yeah, that's fine. All right, and now we have 2 potential attackers with Inti and Ledger Shredder. It's probably just going to be Ledger Shredder. and we have a Chain of Vapor till end of turn. So
And we impulse off of the discard for the connive.
right. So we have a Volk Island. Man, wish I didn't play that land.
You can't do anything.
Yeah, I wish I didn't play that land yet. That's okay. We needed it anyways. So we get the +1/+1 counter. It's going to go on the Ledger Shredder. This is one swole Ledger Shredder, by the way. How big do we go? How big do we seem to get our hand?
I think we just attack with Leisure Shredder, discard to Inti, and then give +1/+1 trample, and then Commander trigger. We just discard only the Lightning Bolt here.
Yeah, so we're gonna discard for Patchwork Gnome's effect. We'll discard.
Inti. We're discarding for Inti's effect when you attack.
Oh my god, you're right. Yeah. So that gives the +1/+1 counter. It's target creature against trample this turn, so it's just one big bird. And then we get to impulse a Ghost Fire Slice. A little slice of the Ghost Fire for you.
We are once again ass out, but we're ass out with a win in hand, theoretically.
Decent board, yeah. We are drawing a card off of Captain here, and it is Arcane Laboratory. Okay. So these are all exiled to include the Chain of Vapor.
And for here, we probably do Captain.
I mean, did you want to discard Arcane Laboratory? I guess while that was all there to patchwork to do the Captain Howler thing again.
Well, we do that on our opponent's turns with patchwork. We just discard, draw somebody hitting, discard, draw somebody hitting.
Sure. So it's a Null Rod that gets exiled off of Inti, and then we draw Land's Edge. If he can connect, we get an extra card. If Inti, don't we swing with Inti also? Only if we're able to trigger Captain Howler again, which we technically could have.
But we'd have to discard our.
It would have been,
which we don't want to
do. Yeah, that's true. We're kind of stuck at 2. So yeah, we discard off turn to do that. Do we want to say we get another discard off of someone else's attack?
Probably, because we have 2 cards in hand. I don't think people are scared of us right now.
Yeah, we'll discard the Land's Edge. We will do it this way. We'll impulse, and then we'll get the draw. Flooded Strands. Okay, I think we just have Steam Vents at this point, and an Arcane Signet. We're going to play all the 2 CMC rocks this game. Okay, next turn, Will. We have REB. I mean, assuming that no one did anything to us, which, I don't know, we don't look that intimidating right now, do we? We've got a pretty good engine set up, but these are some random-ass cards I don't think people think about.
This is also assuming we didn't get any connive triggers or anything.
Yeah. Is that okay?
So, from here, honestly...
Just the... Do we wait for the Flooded Strand? I feel like it's pretty comfortable to use it as a resource.
Actually, hold on. Can we just straight up win here?
So far as Underworld Breach is concerns...
So we can Underworld Breach, use Gamble, find Lotus Petal, use Lotus Petal to get a bit more mana for Gamble again, then we use Relentless Assault. And then we just kind of do the thing, and we can potentially use like Faithful Saluting or something to discard from our hand a little bit more.
Ray, but... I 100% agree with you. Sorry, Will. This is probably one of the more difficult decks we've Goldfish. There's a lot of thought involved with how you're manipulating your turns, and there are a lot of hurdles. I'm not going to lie. Like we're assuming that Ledger Shredder always has a target, and it's usually safe to say that most flyers usually have a target.
Well, it's a Leisure Shredder with trample.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, bearing in mind that Inti gives the trample. All right, Will, how do you want to do it?
So we can do Underworld Breach. We can just straight up attack to get an Inti trigger. Actually, we probably gamble first.
Do you want to just drop the Flooded Strand? It's just more. It's more exile fodder.
Yeah, from exile. Yeah.
Right. So let's do that. Let's thin out our list a little bit. We'll get the steam vents. We'll hit ourselves with the steam vents. We're going to hold the REB. It'll probably, let's just say we have to pop it now. Because we're going to drop this.
We'll assume that we have to pop it when we play
Underworld Breach, for sure.
Yeah.
So we'll do the Felwar Stone to keep the Breach alive. Which isn't the end of the world, because whatever we gamble, it doesn't matter if it goes to our grave or not. Which, I mean, it probably will.
For second spell per turn, so we can connive away the Signet.
Right. So we'll draw, and we have a Jeska's Will off the top rope here. We'll connive this Signet still, I think. I feel like Retract or something similar to refill your hand to then go big would be helpful.
Well,
yeah.
We're about to win here, because what's going to happen here is we cast Gamble, discard whatever randomly, and we find Lotus Petal, and then we can move to combat. Punch. So we move to combat, we punch, and then we
right.
get some draws, crack Lotus Petal a couple times, and then we gamble again. We find what's it called, the extra combat, and then from here we can keep stacking draws to discard and go.
So right now we've only gotten one discard off. Is that true?
Correct.
Right.
So it was, the one discard off of Leisure Shredder, and then we're gonna get one discard off of Inti for Leisure Shredder attacking, and we're gonna get a discard off Gamble.
Correct. So first, Captain Trigger is just gonna go on Leisure Shredder. Let's move to combat here now that Underworld Breach is resolved. We're gonna go ahead and attack with Leisure Shredder. We get the Inti trigger. It will resolve. We're just gonna put the counter. I don't even think I've been tracking the Inti triggers.
Maybe better to put the
counter on Captain
on the Captain instead of Leisure Shredder, because we can use Inti to give the Captain trample, and then Captain has ward, so people can't kill Captain, but people could kill Leisure Shredder.
Yeah, I like that. So we'll go +1/+1 on the Captain here, and sorry, we are discarding a card. We're going to discard the Jeska's as well. Put a 1 counter, and then we exile a Force Negation. Okay, that's not horrible.
And, we gamble first, I believe, with the Underworld Breach to do our thing.
What do you want to gamble for Lotus Petal?
Yeah, just so we can start doing that, and that's another discard. So if we want, we can discard Lotus Petal just so we have 3 draws on the Captain, which should make it so that we can breach again. And then we just need to.
Well, wait, we had the Jeska's Will. So what do we it's 50-50. So one of these things were discarded. Let's just say it was the Jeska's Will.
We're discarding one, then we're discarding the other to Inti. So we're discarding 2.
Yeah, no matter what we do. So to the gamble. All right. The other +1/+1 counter, you just want to keep putting them on.
Yeah, we're buffing our Captain all the way, because killing with Commander damage is faster than killing with the Leisure Shredder as well.
Sorry, no. The only thing that matters is this. Okay, so we get a Fairy Mastermind off the other Impulse.
Yeah.
Okay, now we attack. Sorry.
Yep.
Sorry.
We draw 3 off of Captain connecting.
Because we have 1, 2, 3 on Captain solely.
Yep.
All right. And then you get 2 more impulse off Inti. Yeah. It's again, it's kind of a bitch to manage.
The Inti impulse draws are now going to be kind of irrelevant because we just go here. So now we can replay Lotus Petal from the graveyard a couple times, cast Gamble, searching for Relentless Assault, Relentless Assault, and then dump our whole hand to the Patchwork to buff our Captain.
I would start with the lands, but I just don't want to dabble with it. We'll exile 3 cards and play the Lotus Petal. We don't even really need the Lotus Petal here. We just need to gamble. I'll go ahead and...
Yeah, actually, theoretically, you were totally right. We do not need to use Lotus Petal, because Jeska's Will's probably enough. We can just play or pay for Jeska's Will, then use the mana from Jeska's Will to do the thing.
Yeah, I mean, well, here, let's do this instead. Let's say that we drop a Soul Ring, and then I'll tap something for red in the Soul Ring to cast the Jeska's Will, utilizing the same amount of cards, the Flooded Strand, the whatever. Sorry, we will keep Jessica's Will. I'm sorry.
And somebody probably has 5 cards in hand for Jessica's Will, so we'll say it's like a seething song.
Oh God, I hope so. Okay. Okay, so we just want to say we have 5. I'm just gonna do this treasure token to signify that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Close. All right, now we'll gamble, and let's just gamble with one of these treasures. And so far as what we're gambling, I will get rid of the Arcane Laboratory. I will get rid of this Steam Fence. I'll get rid of the Pyretic Ritual. Gamble is somewhere down there, right? Okay, cool. Gamble is going to get Relentless Assault.
Card a card at random. Shouldn't really matter what gets discarded. And we buff our captain with that discard. And then we'll say we cast the Relentless Assault for the remaining mana, and then discard every other card remaining in our hand to buff our captain to 6 captain triggers. So next time we attack, we draw 6 cards.
I'm not seeing Relentless Assault in the deck.
Did you not put it in?
Oh, it's in our graveyard already.
Oh yeah, we discarded it early. Yeah, you're right. Okay, we didn't even.
Well, no, we didn't gamble. We're gonna lose 1, 2, 3 more treasures. My God, to play Relentless Assault. So we untap everything. There's additional combat phase followed by an additional main phase.
Yep.
Wow.
Is there actually a thing we want to gamble for just because we can? Like, is there a really good effect?
I mean, okay, let's take a little a quick respite.
Well, let's at least explain what we're going to do here. So we're discarding 6 cards this combat, which means that we're going to draw 6 cards off of our commander. We can discard all 6 of those cards to buff our commander again, meaning that we're going to draw 12 cards on the next combat. Repeat, repeat, repeat. Inevitably, we have enough mana and enough damage to kill everybody with Relentless Assault and Lotus Petal, or we just go infinite. So
right, the only thing that could really stop us, I guess, is a strong double blocker pairing against Captain.
Yeah, but we can just.
I guess we deal with them with Ledger, huh?
We just play removal from our grave.
Yeah, I mean, we have the lightning bolts. I mean, I'd say bolts. We could just run bolt as many times as we need.
I get what you mean.
Yeah. I mean, there's nothing really you need to
something
do.
Else we can gamble though, if you'd like, to smooth it out.
I mean, I'm looking at a force of negation. This is off turn.
Yeah, force of negation's off turn. We can find pact of negation if we wanted to cast it a million times.
So I hear Firestorm, Brass's Tunnel Grinder, and Dangerous Wager from Angelus. Potentially, so Will's right. Everything's sort of exponential here. We're just trying to go for damage, and we have 58 cards in our deck. So between Ledger Shredder and Captain, Captain is plus 6 right now.
Plus 13 plus 1 right now.
So he's 14.
Yeah. No, he's a plus 13 attack and plus 1 toughness, and he's a base 5/4, so it's 18. Because it's 6 captain triggers, 1 inti counter, and then
and this is with trample, right? So
yeah.
All right, yeah, we should win through Relentless Assaults. Yeah, the only thing we need, it's kind of a convoluted pile to illustrate, but basically the Patchwork Gnomes is what's going to give us our free discard, and then Inti is going to give us some impulse drawing, and then obviously Captain is going to give us some regular draw. I don't believe it's not a May to exile the top card of our library, so we are running with Inti, so we are running out of cards a little bit quicker than we should like, but we should still be good. It shouldn't
matter because our commander's so big that he's one-shotting people at this point, so 2 extra combats means game.
Yeah.
And to Angelus, for the Firestorm, Brass's Tunnel Bore, all those things, no, we do not want those. Only because all of those are mass discard effects, and the way that our captain reads is, our commander, the captain, reads is when you discard 1 or more. So if you Wheel of Fortune, you discarded 1 or more cards, and you give 1 creature +2/+0 for every card discarded, so you get 14, but then you draw 1 card when they connect. Whereas if you discard 7 cards through like a looting effect or something, you'll draw 7 cards because you had that effect trigger 7 times, as opposed to the effect triggering once, buffing one thing by 7 discards. We're discarding 1 at a time because of the last part of the effect. You still get the same amount of power either way, but yeah, is weird.
Yeah, no, the 1 or more, it's fine. It's fine. Yeah, we
imagine if it wasn't 1 or more. Dear Lord, this would be an insane commander if you actually could do like Firestorm or Wheel of Fortune to draw 7.
I mean,
more
honestly,
cards.
he's still not bad. It's a little less efficient, but he's still not bad with like your singular discard effects.
Because even with this game, like we just played super hard control for the most part, and then did Howler stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like we played the control deck and then won just by punching people.
Yeah, that's kind of funny to think that the pirate needs to loot and or rummage to get stronger. But I mean,
I like that.
Thematically, it makes a great deal of sense. All right, well, Captain Howler, guys, for everyone that stayed till the end, thanks for hanging out with us. If you want to help this video, you could leave it a like. I would appreciate that. And or share it with anyone you know that's working on a Captain Howler. Obviously, this is a rough draft. You may take this and do with it what you will. I'm sure we missed some core cards, but hey, how did it work? Pretty good.
It was like a little clunky, but this is very unpolished, like you said. So piloting that well for a deck that has not been thinned down to its components is pretty good. And there's a million ways that you can build Howler. You can build him like force attackers to make your opponents attack and then draw extra combat storm and just stack all the extra combats and go for it, as you kind of saw us do on that second game. Or just control, taking advantage of when people need to attack other people and just play politics, which is kind of more what our deck does.
Yeah.
But Howler can do well. So
yeah,
good.
it's interesting. Like you kind of just want to set up board, have a few creatures at the ready, drop the Howler, go to town.
Yeah,
I like it. It's a really decent, thoughtful build. We did seem to run out of hand fairly easily, and once we did, it's not like our commander helps us draw outside of the function of discard. So it's card quality at that, right? So you're never really breaking unless you've like what we were saying earlier, like once you get the Relentless Assault going, then sure, you know, if there's 3 instances of this effect, then yes, you'll draw 3 cards. So for 1 card, you draw 3. Up until you get to that point, you are only breaking parity on hand, right? And then Inti, obviously, we were fortunate to have him both games. He is kind of fixing that by giving us impulse draw, but why Relentless Assault over overpowering attacks is cheaper for Howler?
Depends on if you can connect with Howler. Sometimes you can combo off the turn Howler comes out, and then Relentless Assault is just better. But there's not a major difference between the two. You could do either.
Yeah, again, there may be a better choice. I just went for the cheapest one. Relentless Assault is the cheapest one. I mean, I guess
like 10 cents.
Yeah. Also, there's another 4-cost one, which I think you suggested.
That's enchantment? Oh no, are you talking about the train or the
no, the one that has flashback,
Seize
the day. But Seize the Day is only one singular target, where Relentless Assault is your board. So I kind of favored Relentless Assault for that. But it's the cheapest, gain an additional main phase, additional combat that you can get. So on that note, hey, thanks for joining us. We're going to do some more Aetherdrift builds. I'm pretty sure there are definitely more outwardly appealing cEDH viable legendaries from this set. I kind of wanted to touch on one. We're talking about this off camera, obviously, but I wanted to do one that was kind of a sleeper, in my opinion. I do think that this shark is good and could definitely be cEDH playable. If you want to play in a competitive setting, I think you can make a version of this build that will work. Is it better than your Nivs? I'm not even a big fan of Niv Mizzet, if I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. I would rather have something that... This has, I think, like a surprise value to it. I think you're going to see some random shit from this and not know what to do, and that's going to work in your favor. Where Niv, it's like, the lines are pretty tried and true. You kind of have an expectation of what you're going to get out of that list. But also, things like your Fierce Guardianship and your Deflecting Swat are online much sooner too. So, and those are relevant spells. I like Captain Howler a lot. I like him a lot.
I think the biggest difference between Niv and Howler is also the loss of Jeweled Lotus hurts Niv really badly.
Yeah.
So Niv is coming out a lot slower than Howler. And Howler just in general allows you the ability to politic in a way where you can take out threat decks. Because scary decks right now are Kinnan and Silas Rograk. But if you can counterspell a key thing, they're slowed down for a turn or two. And if you politic with people, you deal like upwards of 54 damage in one rotation just using Howler's effect. Granted, you're not getting that high usually, but you can knock a player out of the game if you just agree with the other two players, hey, they're the threat. Do you want to just take them out right now?
Can you still believe I pulled double Jigglypuff, double Hatena, double Charizard? That's insane
that was
to me.
Crazy. The fact that it was like lined up the same was what got me.
Yeah. So clearly these McDonald's Pokemon packs. I think there's a McDonald's near my work. I really shouldn't be eating this much, this many chicken nuggets, but I am enjoying collecting. These are probably worth dirt, by the way. I can't imagine these are expensive.
Probably. Well, I mean, to be fair, there was a Yu-Gi-Oh pack that came out with McDonald's in 2003, and there was a card called like Jelly Frog or something like that, and that's like a $300 card now because it only got printed in the McDonald's packs.
Bullshit. These are.
I'm not kidding.
I think these are mechanically unique. I'm pretty sure.
Yes, so if they are mechanically unique cards that you can only get in the limited time Happy Meal thing, those cards might be worth money in like 10 years.
I know for collectors, folks want the Pikachu especially, and then there's a Dragonite. I've looked over them. None of them are quite that good. So I'm not even sure if these are playable right now. I think they're... I think it's G, H, and I is coming up. So everything else is like not playable, but this Drampa and Koraidon are. Anyways, don't mind me. I'm just buying random shit from McDonald's. Jigglypuff is so round. It really is. It's very much like Kirby. Top 16.
Geometrically unsettling.
Roxai is in the mud right now, you're saying. Top 16th at a tournament over the weekend. Roxai is unplayable. What?
Yeah, so
I feel like this is some
Roxai
drama.
Roxai gets hated out kind of quickly.
Oh.
So like it's not doing super well. It looked like it was doing very well before, but people have kind of realized, wait, just run more removal, and Roxai's I've seen that, but I didn't know how accurate that was. So good to know. Good to know if that's more accurate than I thought. But still gives the point of Roxai's the fast deck that you can kind of slow down with one quick hit.
Are you saying that Oswald, there's hope yet?
Oswald is really good right now. Oswald is in a very good position because this is the meta where people aren't expecting it to go fast and the grindier decks do well, and Oswald kind of does a little bit of both of that. So I think Oswald's good.
I do need to remove... I haven't taken out the Jeweled Lotus or Mana Crypt yet.
Oh, well, I mean, you're fine with that, with taking out Jeweled Lotus. I don't think Jeweled Lotus affects your deck much. Mana Crypt kind of hurts, but...
Yeah. Just to speed out, like, some forms of interaction. Meta is too slow. Please keep telling me that. I'm happy to hear that, Mateus. Maybe I should go to a cEDH tournament and report back?
Sure, but I'm happy with the meta being slower because honestly, we get crazy stuff like Captain Howler and things that are somewhat viable. So I'm happy when the meta's diverse enough where there's no top deck.
Saw Rule of Law again in multiple games for the first time in a while. My
And
God.
that is a sign of a good meta right there.
Yeah, I don't know if it's healthy, but it's
I say it's healthy. I say if you have it so that there is not like a singular deck that everyone agrees is going to be constantly topping tournaments, that's good.
hmm.
And like I think the one that people are saying is the best right now is like Thrasios Timna, which it's like okay, the old OP deck is back to being OP,
Yeah.
but it's not topping every tournament. I like the meta.
Yeah, I like the meta too. I'm glad we got rid of that bird. Um, everything else
I
seems
miss
fine.
Dockside though. I will miss Dockside.
I don't miss Dockside.
He deserved to die, but
Yeah.
I will miss him. He made so
Yeah.
many decks reliable.
Anyway, maybe we can talk about the meta later. But yeah, we'll work on some topics to talk to you guys about. Obviously, we want to do a set review for this new set, and we'll be doing some more brews for it as well. But until then, do you expect these Friday? By the way, I'm sorry. I've got a few functions lined up for the course of this month. I think weddings and other social gatherings to attend. So the dates we do these might be a little off, but you should expect these every Friday, ideally. Okay.
By the way, so Patrick, the Yu-Gi-Oh card was called Frog the Jam, and it is now only $5. But there was a deck that was there was a frog deck that made this card actually viable in competitive, and it jumped up to like triple digits for a while.
That's crazy, dude. I just need to see. This Koraidon looks pretty good, man. Discard 3 energy from this Pokemon. A little rough. I don't like effects like that. The Drampa is freaking sweet, though, dude.
Yeah.
Sorry, I mean, this is obviously irrelevant to all of you except for me. The double turbo energy is getting phased out, so it's not like you're going to be able to get double colorless pretty quickly, but if all your bench Pokemon have at least 1 damage, that's pretty easy to accommodate. And then this does 220 damage. That's pretty good. I don't know. Maybe I'll fuck with that. It's kind of cool. Good stuff. Good night. Yeah. Good night, guys. Good night. See ya. Ciao. Ciao, Bellows. Bellas. Got work tomorrow. Well,